Hola.
Hola, me amigo, Mike. Como allez-vous?
Allez-vous français?
Oui.
Nine, nine, nine.
Uh, uh, uh. Et,
Oh,
uh, et tout mon, I don't remember my French. This bit's failing.
for a second there, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Corey's actually trying to speak French.
I did take 3 years of French, but who knows where that knowledge went.
I think it was all erased by Zelda.
I really would like to relearn my French. I've been thinking about that every year as I get older. I think it'd be a cool thing to learn, especially because not too far from the United States is that they're Canada, and I know French is like a second language there. I think that'd be neat.
That is very true. You never know when you're going to meet a French Canadian and you can, talk moose to them.
And there's like all those like programs and there's different like websites and applications to just help with that kind of stuff. I even thought about just getting like a book like how to learn French or something like that.
Yeah, you can probably just go online and find some way just to touch up on it. And the funny thing is, I bet you remember a lot of it. It'll all come back to you. Like it'll refresh your memory when you start like going into it. Like I think there's times like where I feel like I forget all the Spanish that I learned in high school. But then once I just like start like googling like some of the like definitions and conjugations, it all comes back to me. You know,
It
it's like
was
Friday and Pike. You never forget.
it was also interesting to me to learn how close French and Spanish are. Like they're very similar.
Yeah, there's a because they're all called romantic languages, so that's why they all have like similar words, similar like even just like the structure of the language, like it's like the conjugations, you know.
Right.
But then if you go to like English and German, they're I forget the term, like Anglo-Saxon. So that's
Yeah.
why English and German are very similar. So yeah,
English
that's,
seems very complicated to someone trying to learn it, you know. We
oh
have
yeah,
words like these are our hours. You get it? There's
yeah.
like three or four different R's in there. It's very confusing.
Yeah. I think the people have confirmed that like for people who are learning to speak English, it is like the hardest language to learn. Or it's one of them. I think because I think the best way to describe it is our language has so many rules and it has so many exceptions to the rules. That's why it's so confusing.
Yeah. Yeah, you nailed that. That's
Yeah.
correct. Not
Like
to mention
I before E. Oh, but except after C. And then, except was it pronounced as A, like neighbor and way. And then there's other exceptions to that rule, and I can't remember the hell. I used to know there was even like another exception to that rule, but it's just.
I wonder
I
if
mean,
oh go ahead.
no, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say to sum up English in one way, just read the word island, and like anybody's gonna be like, it doesn't say that. Well, it's island. Just get over it. It's like okay.
I was gonna say, oh crap, I just lost my train of thought.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, I remembered it now. It's all right. I was gonna say, I wonder if like other languages have slang words. Like, I don't know even how to put this unless it's like just new internet words, like things like lit and YOLO. Like, I wonder if there's like stuff like that in other languages in other regions of the world.
I'm sure there is. I think when I was learning Spanish, I was learning some Spanish slang, like kind of like how we have the word cool, like oh that's pretty cool. Like I think in Mexico primarily there is a word for that. It's not like a literal translation, so they're not using like their word for cold. It's like I forget what it is, but like so yeah, there is such a thing as like slang in other languages.
Yeah. Um. Other than that, though, as my week has been going so far, it's been all right. It's been a weird week though. So just to let everyone know, last Friday I got a little bit scared because I woke up and I had a slightly like sore throat, as well as slight like nasal congestion, like a runny nose. And I
Oh
was
no.
right, and I was like, "Oh no, like is this the Rona? Do I actually have it?" So, I did the proper methods. I let my work know, and I've been essentially quarantined again since Friday. And I did take a test on Sunday, but I also just want everyone to know that right now I am feeling perfect. My issues have gone. I mean, that doesn't mean I don't have the virus, but I'm pretty sure it was just like a false alarm. I think I'm good now, but I'm still gonna do my part and quarantine. So I just haven't worked since last Friday. I've almost had like a little early Christmas vacation over here at the Game Bro Corey apartment.
Man, is that all you gotta do? Just be like, I think I'm getting sick. Vacation time for you.
I mean, I'm not going to encourage that type of behavior, but if you are feeling sick, depending on your company, they might want you to stay home. And my company has, like, literally, if anything is wrong with you, stay home. And I was scared. Like, I didn't know if I actually have it or not. And who knows? I could. But I wanted to do my part. But yeah, now I'm feeling like A-okay. I'm pretty sure I'm fine. But I'm still not going to, like, go out too much until I know for sure. Which kind of sucks, too, because I still have some Christmas shopping I need to do. And we're also supposed to get a big, like, snowstorm in my area in the next few days. Yeah. But with that being said, I have been doing a lot of Christmas cookie baking because I've been inside. And that's been going quite well. I've been having a lot of fun with that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and they turn out really well. I've been making a bunch of different varieties of cookies. I'd like to always... I don't really have, like, a set cookie I go to every year. I kind of always like to change it up. I'll make, like, 4 or 5 different ones and kind of, like, just rate them. Be like, oh, these were pretty good. Or sometimes, maybe they're just not that great. And it's like, oh, well, these aren't that great, but, we'll eat them. They're still cookies. And I've been having a lot of fun, like, baking. I enjoy doing all that kind of stuff. And, but yeah, I don't know what's to come of the test results, and I don't know when I'm supposed to get them. Where I went to get the test, they said earliest Wednesday, latest could be sometime next week. And all I'm gonna say, guys, is if I would get my test results next week, I'm just done, because my company, this is the last week, and then they have they do a facility shutdown for the holiday. So
nice.
I think I might just be already in my Christmas vacation as we speak, which is pretty hype. It's like all of this it just fell into place. Like I was like, oh, it'd be nice if I could just stay home, because a lot of the people I work with have already like accumulated a lot of PTO. So basically my facility is almost like a ghost town right now. It's just a few people left. So I was just like so antsy. I'm like, oh, I just can't wait these last few days. And I was scared, of course, on Friday and Saturday. It wasn't that bad. It also like went away, but I was just like, I guess maybe this is just what's gonna happen. And hope we'll get the test back soon, so me and Megan will be able to like spend time with our families still on Christmas and Christmas Eve, which is nice.
Well, that's good.
But yeah, I haven't been doing much other than that. I mean, I got video games and movies and shows to talk about, but of course that comes later. What about you, Mike? What have you been up to?
Well, I will say this past weekend we had what did we do? We kind of just had some friends over that we have, like, basically because we have our wedding, being planned. We still have like a little, like about a year and a few months to go. But we invited over my buddy Pete and his wife Ashley. So Pete's gonna be my best man for the wedding. And actually, believe it or not, Ashley and Amanda have gotten really close, and she's going to be one of the matron of honors.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's very nice. So we had them over, and we were just, catching up and hanging out. And then yesterday, my parents came over for a visit to see us, see the dog. I'm sure they came over to primarily see the dog, because who doesn't want to see the dog? I'm sure they're like, Mike, we've seen you for 30 years. We don't care. Where's the dog? And besides that, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Corey.
I was just gonna say I get that. My mother-in-law pretty much. Well, I mean, she's technically not my mother-in-law. We're not married yet, but my girlfriend's mom, she'll always come over to our apartment to check on our cat. That's all I was gonna say.
But yeah, like besides that, I've just been working like so much this past. Well, I've been working a lot ever since like October, especially. That's when like my hours really picked up.
Yeah.
And yeah, last week was pretty crazy and stressful. Actually, even like just the last 2 days have been stressful, Monday and Tuesday. And when I say that, I'm not saying like I'm coming home miserable. It's just like I leave all my stress behind at work. So when I come home, I'm happy, and so
you just unwind, try to relax as much as possible.
Yep. So that's nothing for anybody to worry about. But when I'm at work, it is kind of annoying, just all the crazy crap that goes on. And I honestly have just been getting home like so late and trying to get other things done around the house, trying to get my own shopping for Christmas done. And it's mainly been online because I really don't know if I can go anywhere. And
that's understandable. A lot of people don't know if they can go anywhere.
Yeah. But the really bad thing is that everything's backed up, especially in the city. My dad works for the post office, but he worked, up in Bucks County. But he heard about how I think the Philadelphia post office, like all of the the warehouses that have been processing and sorting all these packages. Like I think they said there's an estimated like 500,000 packages that are still backed up.
Oh my God!
I know.
Wow.
And the bad thing is, I've been tracking my one package that I ordered like a month ago, probably even longer than that. No, about a month ago, maybe 5 weeks. I ordered Amanda a birthday gift. It still hasn't arrived, and I like apologized to her. Like, I mean, of course, she knows it's not my fault, but like, I got her a couple gifts, but the one I ordered online, like, it hasn't shown up yet. And I think it's still it must be at that warehouse, like just sitting there. And I'm mad because I spent a lot of money on it. And, I do have a tracking number, but the tracking number just hasn't updated. And it's like, well, it updated once it hit the Philadelphia U.S. Postal Service sorting facility, and then it hasn't done anything since. And I'm telling you, it not only did it take forever for it just to get there, I bet it's one of those 500,000 packages that are still, backed up. Maybe it's working its way to the front of the line, but it hasn't gotten here yet, and I'm a little frustrated. But then that being said, although I have been ordering a few things, like maybe not through the Postal Service directly, but I've been ordering other Christmas gifts for my family and for Amanda, and a lot of them haven't shown up yet. And I think some of them that I was going to order this week are saying, or even like over the weekend, were saying, yeah, like if you order now, you're not. Basically, they were just warning you, you're not getting it before Christmas. And I'm like, this is just ridiculous. Like, I mean, obviously, like, it's not like it's going to ruin Christmas. Like, like it's not like my family's materialistic. But I feel bad because I want to give them something to open up on Christmas. That's just like
right.
The fun
That's
of it.
Completely, yeah, it's understandable.
Yeah. And my parents keep saying like, oh, look, like this year's terrible. Don't worry about it. And I know they truly don't care, but it just makes me feel bad. It makes me feel like why can't I just be able to give my parents, my brothers, Amanda's family, my niece and nephews, like I just want to give them like, and luckily for them, I think I already have them taken care of. But like just there's still so many people like mainly my parents that are hard to buy gifts for, and I came up with these creative ideas for gifts, and now it's like if I order them, they won't get here until after Christmas, and it really stinks.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's a lot of people in that same boat,
Oh yeah. I'm not trying to say, oh, woe is me. I'm sure there are plenty of people out there that are having the same problem, and it really is a shame. This is just one of those years,
Yeah, it's like, come on, 2020, just end, please.
Yeah, we're almost there. Don't worry. I see the light at the end of the tunnel.
I'm probably in that same boat too because I have a few gifts ordered, and I'm sure. One's supposed to come this week, but the one might not make it on Christmas. So, yeah, I'm feeling that struggle.
But besides that, it's just been just me working a lot. Unfortunately, not getting as much as I want done. Trying to get shopping done, and I really haven't had a chance to play a lot of games, which kind of stinks. So I mean, I'll definitely have something to talk about when we get to the end of the podcast. But unfortunately, as far as new games, I still have yet to play the new game I purchased, and a lot of the games I'm hoping to get are probably all Christmas gifts. So,
hey, it's completely understandable, Mike. Don't worry about it. I mean, I've even been really busy just like doing stuff around my apartment as well as trying to gift shop and try to figure out what I do with that. Like I got stuff to talk about, but I feel like I haven't been like as productive as I have been either because of the holidays. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's just tough, you know.
Yeah, especially with your work hours, like that's rough. I'm used to with my schedule, or the company I work at. I used to work like every day, like 7 days a week, mandatory, and that pretty much just stopped this year because of COVID-19, like pretty much slowing down a lot of the production. But I mean, I'm used to stuff like that, so I hear you, man. It's tough.
Yeah. But like I said, I'm not gonna let drag me down. My family, like, you know, we're still gonna spend time together on Christmas. Here's something funny that I kind of want you to chime in on. So for Christmas, I kind of like got a hold of my family, and what we're doing is Amanda and I are going to be staying home for Christmas, like Christmas Day,
right?
And it's like it's like an open house. Anybody can come over. We're gonna have breakfast and we'll have lunch. Like we're just gonna all have people come over and have a good time. And obviously, not everyone can make it, so I'm trying to make plans to see people like before and after Christmas. Again, like I think it's just because of the way this year is. Like, if you can't see your family or your friends on Christmas Day, it shouldn't ruin your holiday. You know, that's the mindset that I have. That like, it's not like, oh, you didn't see your parents on Christmas Day, then it's like, oh, Christmas is ruined. Like, no, that's not the spirit of Christmas. Like, despite, again, like, you know, with everything going on in the year of 2020, like, if I can't get to my parents, or if I have to go there the day before just to manage, like, you know, getting things done on Christmas Day, like, you know, so be it. So my Christmas Day, or my Christmas might extend beyond Christmas Day. It might be like when's Christmas? Christmas is a Friday this year, I think.
Yeah.
So probably like it'll be like Thursday through Saturday is all going to be Christmas for me. Just like, you know, visiting family, having people come over. So
yeah, it sounds like a good time.
Yeah. So, how about you? Are you just doing any traveling, but before and after Christmas, or is it all just happening on Christmas Day?
I believe that we'll be going to my mom's house for Christmas Eve. We actually usually will celebrate Christmas on Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Day we do like just a dinner or lunch. But we'll do like the gifts on Christmas Eve. I've been doing that like my whole life.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll probably go on both Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, but my mom's house isn't too far. It's like maybe 20-25 minutes, you know. That's pretty much all I'll be doing though. But I was going to say to everyone too, you know, if anyone's worried about traveling or might have to stay home, all y'all have this thing next to you right here. This, I hope you can hear me banging that. That's my phone. You know, we are in the year 2020. Don't be afraid to call your family, your friends, whoever. You can even, of course, use like Zoom or Discord, Skype, whatever. Just reach out and talk to people. You know, there's many ways to do that. I did that last holiday. I couldn't see my grandpa, but I gave him a phone call, and it was really nice to talk to him. I haven't seen him all year because of the pandemic, unfortunately.
Huh. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
It's tough. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was... You know, it's just been a weird year for a lot of people, you know. I remember when this thing all started, and that was right around March, which led right into Easter. And I remember me and my girlfriend had like a little Easter celebration at our apartment. We just ended up making like a dinner. I think we might have called a few people here or there. But I completely understand, like, doing the move of just staying and letting people come. That's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, just try to, I guess, keep it to a minimum, and also just reach out, you know, if you can't talk to or you can't see people. That's my little public service announcement here on the Level With Me podcast.
No, I think I totally agree with that.
Also, I just can't believe that it's like, what, Christmas is like a week away? It's the 15th. It's crazy, dude.
Yeah. Time flies, man.
And I still got gifts to get. I'm very close to being done. I'm like 90 to 95% done, which is good. But, I'm also a terrible gift wrapper. How is your gift wrapping game?
I've stuck to gift bags now.
Okay.
It's
Fair.
that much easier. I will try to wrap some, but it's kind of like a joke at this point, where I'll just wrap it up and it's like clearly not even very good. I mean, I'm not gonna like just like I'm not gonna not try, but it definitely is not. It probably could be better, but I'm just not good at it.
I should be better because my grandma back in the day used to always do those in like malls. They would have those services that they turn one of the abandoned stores into just a gift wrapping thing. And she was very good at that, and she was even the one who showed me how to wrap gifts. I guess it didn't sink in properly, you know.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Maybe I should just like start making my gifts like super ugly, just as the bit. Like, yeah, I'm not good at wrapping gifts. Like, I'll just throw like some twine on there, like just tape everywhere, and just make it like the ugliest present ever.
Some twine.
Yeah.
You just wrap it in like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of something like disgusting you can wrap it in.
Aluminum foil.
Perfect. or like whatever that wax paper people wrap hoagies in. Just wrap it in that.
Ah, yeah. I think it's called just sandwich paper or parchment paper or something like that.
Yeah, there you go. Oh my gosh.
All right.
I'm just laughing now because it's just ridiculous.
If Level With Me podcast had a Christmas gift, it pretty much look like that. Like, yeah, hoagie or deli paper, whatever you want to call it, a bunch of twine, maybe like some stickers, throw some glitter on there. Why not? A couple different colored bows. I like the bows.
Yep. I just feel
And with that being said, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Level With Me podcast, episode 75. Wow, we're really getting up there. I am one of your hosts, Game Bro Corey, and I am once again joined by my co-host, Mike. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing good, Corey. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Level With Me. Oh my gosh, I think I hear something on the roof. You hear that? Oh, it's my neighbor again.
I was gonna say, is someone breaking into your apartment?
Yeah. Damn it, South Philly.
Might want to get some of those. Oh gosh, what a Ring? Those little cameras. I forget what they're called.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something like, get that thing, the gun or whatever it's called.
Get those spikes that they install on buildings so homeless people don't sleep there.
Is that why Target has that on top of the Target sign? Is that why the homeless people don't see up there?
Yeah, they're anti-Santa spikes. We don't want any gifts here. Just the corporation gifts, not Santa's gifts. Who needs a handmade wooden toy? I want that PS5 under my Christmas tree, damn it.
That actually made me laugh.
Oh, man. I'm having horrible nightmare flashbacks to Cyberpunk with all the corporation talk, but we'll get to that later.
Oh, yeah.
But again, welcome everyone. The Christmas is upon us, or I guess if you're celebrating anything else that's happening already. Hanukkah, that's going on.
Yeah. We got Festivus around the corner.
Oh, right.
And a couple other important holidays out there,
Yeah, I mean, we're just gonna start the podcast. What more is there to say? You're here. We're 75 episodes deep. You know what to expect now. Video games, #1 podcast in the world. Don't argue it. Don't fact check us. We're right already. We know.
Yeah, come on, Facebook. Don't fact check us.
And this last week, man, there were a lot of bombshells, a lot of content out there, a lot of things we got to talk about. Before we get into the video games, I feel like we could probably comment on this. This was crazy because this happened right before like the Game Awards, and like I think even a little bit around the beginning of the Game Awards. But Disney had like this investor day where they pretty much announced like all their like major movies and series coming out in the future. And this is, everything. Marvel, Star Wars, a little bit of their, like, animated, like their IPs, whatever. So this is pretty crazy. I feel like we can just kind of skim through this, maybe talk about some things that we find really interesting.
Yeah.
So first,
there's definitely a lot. There's definitely a lot here.
This thing is dense. They literally announced like projects for like the next 5 or 6 years, if not even longer. It's crazy. So, like I mentioned, Star Wars, they kind of opened with that, and they have a lot of stuff here. There's a Rogue One prequel coming called Star Wars Andor. I'm going to assume that's a series, not a movie. Am I correct? The article here doesn't say.
If it says a Rogue One prequel, to me that sounds like it's a movie.
It could be a movie. I thought the only movie that was announced was that Star Wars Rogue Squadron movie.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. Well, so I don't know if Andor is a movie, but if it is, that would be awesome because Rogue One was like such a sleeper hit. Like that movie,
I enjoyed it a lot.
Good. Yeah. Honestly, one of my favorites of the like new era or Disney era Star Wars.
Yeah, it's great when you have like confident script writers just tell us like a nice story. Granted, I know it was like maybe made to kind of play up on the well, I was going to say play on the nostalgia of the very first movie, but that's more like I would say Force Awakens kind of did that by having a similar story and everything, like a lot of parallels.
Yeah, they kind of both did that. I mean, they were literally the first two, Disney Star Wars movies. They wanted to give the people like good faith. Yeah.
I guess what I'm trying to say is Rogue One did a great job though by playing off of the first movie by saying, "Hey, well, here, let's show exactly what happened." Like, I mean, I personally love these like in between quels where they just kind of like squeeze in these good little movies in between things. Like, and I know some people act like the naysayers out there are like, "Oh, well, who cares how they got the plans for the Death Star? We knew that already." It's like, yeah, but don't you just want to see like some extra little stories with new characters, like all new characters, as opposed to like reusing old ones? I don't know.
Yeah. I absolutely love that. I was going to say I love these like kind of just smaller side stories because most of the Star Wars movies are mainly about the Jedi and the Sith. But I think it's really neat just seeing like the everyday life of like these other Star Wars characters and all the like weird things that they deal with and experience.
Yeah, it's just enriching, I mean, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Now, I will admit though, do I think that the character of Cassian Andor needs his own movie? I don't know. I really didn't think he was that interesting. But again, I'm not going to complain about more Star Wars stuff.
Oh wait, so. I think I actually do remember reading about this now. I forgot it was the character Cassian Andor, but yeah, I'm pretty sure this is just going to be a Disney Plus series. So the only movie is the Star Wars Squadron, all the other Rogue Squadron, all the other things are like spin-off series. Yeah.
Okay. But then what's next?
Yeah, but to line up that spin-off series, we have Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's been talked about a while. And
apparently there's a trailer out for that now. Did you see that?
It's brief. It's not unless it just came out, or I might have missed it.
I mean, there was one that I saw, and it's funny. Like I actually haven't had a chance to watch it in like fully yet, but I had it on my phone briefly, and I'm thinking like, oh, this is a fan-made trailer. It has to be. There's like nothing in this movie because it was using like a lot of like old clips. So I thought, oh, this has to be like a fan-made trailer. But I'm pretty sure that's the official trailer. So maybe after like we're done the podcast, I gotta go on there and like go on YouTube and look it up because I'm really curious to see what it's about. On the bright side, they do have Ewan McGregor back as Obi-Wan, because I'm assuming this is going to take place directly after Episode 3.
That's
and
correct.
As we hear on the article, I'm sure you can see that they are going to bring back Hayden Christensen as Darth Vader, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I like it. I like it all just being canonical and having all the same actors. I think that stuff's neat.
Yeah, and I really liked Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, so I'm pretty excited for this.
And from what I understand, some people are speculating that this could, like, people... Because apparently, I mean, I guess this might get into a little bit of spoilers with, like, what happens in the Star Wars universe. But from what I understand, at some point, Obi-Wan has a confrontation with Darth Maul again. Because, again, this might be a little bit of spoilers, but he's not technically dead after he fell into that pit in The Phantom Menace.
I would say if people don't I mean, I understand there's like a lot of like casual fans out there, but to all the casual fans out there, I'm sure you've heard that Darth Maul, obviously, he's still around. He did survive. Well, he survived that fall in the very first movie.
Yeah.
So,
he's got those robot legs.
Yeah. Now, as far as him and Obi-Wan having another confrontation, well, I would say go and watch Clone Wars and go and watch Rebels, and you'll be very satisfied.
Well, there you go. Also here we got The Acolyte.
Yeah, this is different.
Did I say that correct?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Acolyte.
Okay. And it says here it is a female-driven series set in the High Republic era. Now, if I'm correct, isn't the High Republic before the Phantom Menace? Like, this is like the oldest, in quotes, Star Wars storyline.
Yeah, there was a video game based on that, but it took place like 1,000 years before Episode 1. I think that was called the Old Republic. So I'm assuming the High Republic might be, maybe like the era before Episode 1. That's probably, I mean, like or at least some era, maybe like 50 years before Episode 1, I guess. So I want to say that I heard a rumor about that. This is what I heard it was supposed to be like what the new trilogy is going to be about. So this being a mystery series, this being a mystery series, I'm not quite sure. And it's funny how it says a female-driven series. Does that just mean the whole
cast is female? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like the cast or the director, like they're all female. I'm not quite sure what that means, but anyway.
Also on here, there's a Lando Calrissian spin-off series. So this is probably going to be based off Lando Calrissian from the Solo movie, played by Donald Glover, I assume.
That's what I assume as well.
Which could be fun. You know, Donald Glover nailed that role. He was a good young Lando.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be fun. Also, 2 new spin-offs from The Mandalorian. Again, slight spoilers if you're not caught up on The Mandalorian, but Star Wars Ahsoka. I always say that wrong. It's Ahsoka, right?
Ahsoka.
Yeah. So she's going to get her own show, as well as Star Wars Rangers of the New Republic, which both seem really cool. I'm all aboard on this.
Yeah, Ahsoka is one of my favorite characters in all of Star Wars. Like, again, for those who are casual fans who haven't had a chance to watch the Clone Wars series and Rebels, I mean, I implore you, watch it. They're very good, and you'll fall in love with Ahsoka. She is, hands down, one of my favorite characters in all of Star Wars. Now, the Rangers of the New Republic, I'm guessing, is involving like the new police, like or the new like the like for those who for those who are watching The Mandalorian, we saw we're seeing people in those X-wings. I'm guessing they're like the new police force because of the New Republic. So I'm guessing it's supposed to be. I'm guessing these are both taking place during the time frame or during like the era of Mandalorian. It's kind of hard. It's funny because they're saying these are Mandalorian spin-offs. Like that's kind of straight. That's kind of like an interesting statement to say that there's spin-offs of the Mandalorian.
And I don't know if we're gonna see this in the Mandalorian, like the long run, because I don't know how many seasons they plan on having the Mandalorian. But you could definitely see a lot of like ties to like the Force Awakens because they haven't really gone into like the New Order yet. Some people speculate that might be brought up like in one of the spin-offs or potentially by the end of the Mandalorian.
I'm definitely I definitely would love. I think like there's there's like a 30-year time jump between the last of episode 6 and 7. So yeah, I think eventually they're going to have to go into detail and explain. Okay, well, where did the First Order come from? Because that's one of the big main questions of the sequel trilogy. Is like again, there's still a lot like this. Despite all the bad script writing and like a lot of the unanswered questions, one of the biggest ones is where did this the Empire 2.0 come from?
Yeah,
it's we want some answers. Darn it.
Especially if you're watching The Mandalorian, because the Empire is kind of still there. Like there are remnants of the Empire.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, I think that's them trying to give us like some like not a clue, but like a hint. Like, this is kind of like maybe where the First Order, like, as you said, maybe the remnants of the Empire like evolved into the First Order. Like, maybe that's kind of what they're teasing right now. But that's kind of like my little like theory, but we'll see what happens. No spoilers here on Level With Me podcast.
And then, last but not least, with the Star Wars stuff, there's going to be new animated series. One is Star Wars: The Bad Batch. I know that's about characters from the most recent Clone Wars series.
Yep. I think that'd be kind of cool.
And then the other thing here is there's apparently a Star Wars anime in the works called Star Wars Visions, which also seems really interesting. I'd love to see what that looks like in the end. I really enjoyed the Star Wars Clone Wars animated series. That was the original Clone Wars, not the like 3D animated one, the 2D one. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a very underappreciated series.
Yeah. And it's weird because it was like actually like super canon. Like I kind of really appreciate how it literally starts after episode 2, and then where that series ends is actually right at the beginning of episode 3. Like right when Obi-Wan and Anakin are in that like star fight going to like Count Dooku's lair to kind of rescue the Emperor or whatever.
Yeah.
Or the Chancellor. Excuse me.
Yeah. Also, that 2D series is actually where General Grievous came from. He came from that series.
And there were a lot of cool like characters in there, like the I forget the name of the like female Sith, and that one like bounty hunter who was kind of almost like a hunter. Like he had all those like worm creatures in him. I'm
trying to think. There's a Asajj Ventress is probably the Sith girl you're talking about, and the bounty hunter Cad Bane. The guy with the cowboy hat, like Cad Bane?
No, he's like this big armored dude. He's in like the first episode of this Clone Wars series. Also, like Yoda and Mace Windu have really cool moments in the animated one I'm talking about. Yoda also has like this cool like goat horse thing. I'm like, yeah, I get it, Yoda. And Mace Windu has like a good moment where he like mows down like thousands of droids. It's awesome.
Nice.
I digress. I really love that. Like it's like 2003 or 4 animated series, but yeah. Anywho, though, enough about Star Wars. Now let's move on to Disney's second most financially gaining series or property, Marvel. So there's quite a bit of stuff here. A lot of this I'm probably not even familiar with myself because, like I said, this came out at such a weird timing with the Game Awards. Like, I was so excited for all the news there. And I'm like, wait, what's all this Disney stuff happening? Like, I just barely saw, like, a little bit here and there on Twitter. Anywho, though. Secret Invasion, starring Samuel Jackson's Nick Fury and Ben Mendelsohn's Talos. So I assume this is kind of, like, taking off of what was happening in Captain Marvel. Kind of that, like, the stuff with like the Skrull alien race and kind of like, I guess, like expounding on that. Seems interesting. There's also Ironheart, starring Dominic Thorne as armored heroine Riri Williams. I'm going to be honest, I have no idea what that is.
I also have no idea what this is. I'm definitely not as into. I shouldn't say into. I'm just not as very well versed with the Marvel series. Like, so I'm sure there's a lot of characters that I've just never heard of, and I'm just like, oh, they sound cool, but I have no idea what they are.
Especially now with this like second phase where they're really starting to get to some like obscure like characters. Like one of the big movies that they're talking about is like Shang-Chi and the something 7 Rings or something like that, and I don't know what his deal is, but I feel like he's gonna be super cool. Who knows? We also have Armor Wars, starring Don Cheadle's War Machine as he fights to stop Tony Stark's armor tech from falling into the wrong hands. That sounds pretty neat. These are all series, by the way. These aren't movies. These are coming to Disney Plus. Baby Groot, which is an animated series revolving around the tiny guardian of the galaxy. I guess he just goes on misadventures, probably has like fun shenanigans. I assume this is maybe more of a like kids show thing because it's Baby Groot. Also, Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, which will be coming out in holiday 2022, excuse me. And James Gunn is going to write and direct it. So that's wild.
Interesting.
And let's see, what else do we got here? I'm just going to read this little blurb here. Marvel's Kevin Feige, I've heard it both ways, like Feige and Feige, also revealed release window for several previously announced projects. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier is debuting in March 2021, followed by Loki in May 2021, and What If in summer 2021. Additionally, Tatiana Maslany has finally been confirmed to play the lead role in She-Hulk, and Mark Ruffalo and Tim Roth are also confirmed to reprise their roles as Bruce Banner and the Abomination, respectively. That's kind of interesting.
Interesting. Yeah.
Next up here, we're gonna start heading into like the Marvel movies. Fantastic Four movie is confirmed. That's really I have lived so long, like I feel very old that I've seen like so many iterations of Fantastic Four in my lifetime. It's pretty much where Spider-Man is. Like this is like the third or fourth Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah, I mean Spider-Man's on a whole different level of like reboot. Fantastic Four is what? Yeah, they had there was two movies. Then they redid. Then there was the new attempt of like I guess that was the reboot, and it did very poorly. So if they're doing another one, it's like okay, well. I guess fourth time's the charm, and then they'll, then eventually after the fourth movie they'll finally stop. You know?
Ironically enough, the first iteration of Fantastic Four, I mean, it's not the first iteration, but it's the earliest that I can remember is when Chris Evans played the Human Torch.
Yeah, that's right.
Now Chris Evans is another superhero.
I think there was so many joke about that. Where like a lot of the Marvel characters all play like different like superhero roles or something.
Yeah, pretty
like
much.
Somewhere in their movie careers, they all play different roles in superheroes. And I think that was one of the biggest examples was Chris Evans as the Human Torch and Captain America. I guess they can never bring the Fantastic Four into the Marvel universe because they'd be like Chris Evans being Chris Evans.
Well, I mean that's I think what's going to happen with this new whatever number reboot that they're on. Like they want this version of Fantastic Four to actually be in the MCU now. Whoever they cast as all those roles. And whenever this movie comes out, they just announce that it's confirmed. They didn't announce like when they plan on, having it.
It's all different actors and actresses, but they do still give Chris Evans the role. Just because.
Yeah, no one acknowledges it. He's just like a brand new, like he plays, whoever Johnny Flame Man, whatever, Human Torch's name is.
Mm-hmm.
That's like an inside joke with just me and my girlfriend. One time we were talking about Fantastic Four, and she couldn't remember the Human Torch, so she just called him Flame Man.
Flame Man. To be fair, I think the Human Torch is not the most exciting name.
I agree.
So I think at least Flame Man sounds kind of cool. Almost like a Mega Man villain or something.
I know, right? As well as many other MCU movies here, Ant-Man 3 has officially been announced, and it's called Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which I think I'm super happy that this got announced because I feel like the Ant-Man movies are very underrated, and they're so funny. I love them. They're such.
I enjoyed the first one. I really liked the first one, but I heard the second one was it left a lot to be desired. So I'll watch it in my spare time, but Quantum Mania, that's an interesting name.
I assume it's going to get crazy with like the different dimensions and stuff. I feel like that's just the direction a lot of phase 2 of the MCU is going because they realize how many people really loved Into the Spider-Verse. I know that's kind of like its own thing, but I think they're going to play around with a lot of that stuff, especially in the new whatever is the sequel to Homecoming or Far From Home, excuse me. I hear there's a lot of rumors that they're going to actually pull the other actors from the previous Spider-Man movies, so you'll have like Tobey Maguire in potentially the new Spider-Man sequel, as well as Andrew Garfield. I think that's a rumor. I don't know if that's true or not.
I hope it is because it just sounds ridiculous. So I really hope it works.
It would be.
It's kind of, It's almost like a live action Spider-Verse, So
that would be nuts. I think that would be a cool move to see. Also here, Miss Marvel and Monica Rambeau, I hope I said that right, will appear in Captain Marvel 2. They're pretty much just making sequels to all their Marvel movies. Most Marvel movies get like 3,
Everybody gets one.
Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness will connect the events of Spider-Man 3 and... Oh, I don't even know if I want to try that. Zoctil? Zoctil?
It's some kind of Aztec name. I don't know.
Zoctil Gomez is confirmed to be playing Miss America Chavez. I don't know what any of that means. I'm excited for that, though. I love Doctor Strange.
Marvel fans, help us out here because we can't pronounce these names. I'm actually going to look it up right now how I pronounce that name.
Also, I know this guy, Christian Bale, is confirmed to be playing Gore the God Butcher in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh my word.
Gore, the God Butcher. What? Stan Lee, what was he doing with all these character names? What a silly man. Rest in peace.
You crazy, crazy man, you.
Okay, seriously though, on a serious note, I thought this was really cool. And also kind of interesting. Marvel won't recast T'Challa. Feige definitely addressed the biggest question surrounding Black Panther 2. Marvel won't be recasting the T'Challa role out of the respect to the late Chadwick Boseman. Instead, the Black Panther series will expand to spotlight other characters using the branding World of Wakanda. Ryan Coogler remains attached to Black Panther 2, but the sequel's release date has been pushed back to July 8th, 2022. I think that's... I really respect that choice, and I think that's really neat.
Yeah, I mean, it's like... I think it is good they're doing it out of respect for Chadwick Boseman, but I think also it's like... I think they really realize... If, let's just say they were to go against it, and let's say people were completely, like, not like... People were not upset of them recasting the role, I think the viewers would still think, like, it's just not the same, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it would make the movie, like, just fail miserably. So, but I'm also happy when they do take, like, yeah, it's Black Panther 2, but if they just expand and if they just expand the world of Black Panther, like, there's so much you can do with that, you know? Again, like, delving deeper into the comic books, to the more obscure things that people don't know about.
And a little bit of me is upset about this because I'm not going to lie. I think Black Panther is one of the coolest MCU characters. Like, I really dug what his character was and his powers and stuff like that. So it is sad that there's not going to be kind of a spiritual successor or someone to pass that torch to. Maybe somewhere down the line. I don't know the actual, like, lineage of the Black Panther, like, comics. But yeah, I'm still curious to see this because I thought Wakanda was cool and I liked the whole original Black Panther movie.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I definitely enjoyed it, but I think, well, I don't know. I think that movie had a lot of hype around it. It was definitely cool, but I think it just wasn't. It wasn't for me as far as like other. Well, I don't know. To me, now I know I'm coming out as like a jerk, but I honestly do feel like a lot of the Marvel movies are kind of overrated. Like, not just Black Panther. I think a lot of them are overrated. So even though they're cool,
I could see that.
It just, I really didn't think it was like fantastic. It's the same thing with like the Avengers movies. They're cool. I don't think they're fantastic.
Oh,
I'm sure I'm the minority here, but I really don't think they're like. I'm done explaining myself. You can yell me. You can yell me in the comments below. Don't worry, everybody.
I'm not going to yell at you, but as someone who watched a lot of those movies leading up to Infinity War and just having like a lot of the pop moments in that movie, same with Endgame, like there was just such good like payoff. Like it was such like a high point. There were points in the theater. Yeah, where like, sorry, I just want to finish my thought, but there were people like in the theater that we were watching the movie, like we would cheer and we would all like, there was just such good like energy watching those movies and there was just such good moments.
Yeah. I would say that I definitely agree that it basically all all these movies worked up to that final scene when they fought Thanos at the very end. Because I will admit that is a very, very epic scene. It was fun. It actually gave me goosebumps. You know, I was kind of like, you know what? All the movies were worth it because this scene was just that fun. Again, I saw my own little bits of criticism, but I definitely walked away from the movie like very satisfied. Like I like, because people act like because I'm not saying that they're the best movies that I must hate them. Like I don't hate them. I just think that they're not as good as other movies. But yes, Endgame definitely was very satisfying, and I think that's basically what it all came down to. Just that awesome climactic ending.
And
anyway,
funny enough, I don't mean to be too much on this tangent, but once I saw Endgame, I really lost a lot of that like connection because it was just such a good like popping off moment. I was just like, I don't really know if like they're gonna ever top that. Like, I don't know if I can actually commit to another like 25, 26 movie, series, whatever you call that. Like,
yeah,
it was.
I'm pretty sure people are. Yeah, I think people are pretty burnt out after that.
Exactly.
I mean, like in a good way. Like, okay, we just spent the last how many years of our lives watching all these movies. Okay, I think, and the thing is, but Disney is they just keep going.
Yeah, they don't stop.
and I'm just worried that there are people are going to feel burnt out. Like, oh my gosh, another MCU we have to watch. Like,
I think, as bad as this sounds, maybe the pandemic was a good thing for that, giving people a break, because Far From Home, it was all right. I personally wasn't really looking forward to Black Widow, but I'd probably watch that movie whenever it comes out because I'm curious. And I'm going to watch a lot of these MCU movies when they come out because I'm still curious. I want to see where the story's going. I definitely just need to see what the new big bad or whatever the thing is building to. And again, I'm not familiar with a lot of the comics, so I knew about Thanos and the Infinity Gauntlet, all about that, but I don't know really what happens in this next phase. I don't know what the big enemy and the, I'll be interested to see that, but I don't have a lot of attachment to these characters or these properties, so I don't know if I'll really be in it for the long run at this point. Plus, it's going to be a different thing now, especially with the Disney Plus series, and like we were just talking about, I think it does make people a little bit more susceptible to being burnt out. But with that being said, I guess people aren't burnt out at Indiana Jones because they're making another one. How is Harrison Ford really in this movie? Come on now. He's old. He's going to die on the set of this movie.
That's horrible, Corey.
He's old. He shouldn't be making these. Come on.
Let's be honest. He shouldn't have made the last one either.
Yeah.
I like Harrison Ford, but I was happy to see him reprise the role as an older Indiana Jones. But man, again, it's not his fault. It's just the movie was very.
Oh my god.
In my opinion, it was pretty poorly done.
It was.
Yeah. So if they want to do Indiana Jones 5 and it's him again, I mean, hey, God bless the guy for trying to do a more action-y role, and unlike Harrison Ford or unlike Han Solo, which is more he has guns and everything. I mean, yeah, Indiana Jones has guns too, but he's also using lassos and jumping out of the way of boulders. Very very dynamic. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of movie magic to make that happen. Because I mean, gosh, he's probably pushing 80 years old now.
Yeah,
he has to be. I have to look it up now.
Well,
I'm starting to watch it. Please, listeners, don't make it seem like I don't want to watch it. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to be very skeptical.
I am highly skeptical. I don't even know if I want to watch it. I know it's something different because Disney didn't make the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, or did they? I forget because that was long ago.
Oh wait a minute, no, they didn't. I think that was just Lucasfilm because that was before the buyout.
Okay.
Yeah. That was not a Disney mistake. The movie was still a mistake, but not a Disney mistake.
And I mean, I'm also gonna say this, and I don't mean to offend anyone, but who really cares about Indiana Jones? Yes, those first 3 movies are great, but I feel like as a IP or whatever you want to call it, no one's really talking about Indiana Jones. You don't see Indiana Jones in Fortnite, for example,
To be fair, I would not be opposed by that. No. I do really like Indiana Jones as a George Lucas property.
I agree.
Definitely not as popular for as Star Wars. Anyway, I'm sorry. I forget we were talking about Indiana Jones.
We were talking about Indiana Jones, but we don't have much else to say other than they're making a 5th movie. It's supposed to come out in 2022. They don't have a precise date yet, but yeah, that's a thing. Personally, I might have even been happier with just a reboot. I'm surprised they didn't do that, but
I was going to say that I could have sworn there was a rumor of a reboot with Chris Pratt playing a young Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I think that could work. But hey. Anyway,
moving on. Speaking of more beloved 80s properties and series, Noah Hawley's Alien series. Fargo's Noah Hawley is overseeing a new Alien series for FX. The series is set on Earth and blends timeless horror of the first Alien movie with the non-stop action of the second. It's going to be a scary thrill ride that will blow people back in their seats. Guys, if you remember, Disney owns every IP now, and that includes Aliens. And they're making a Alien series for FX and Hulu.
I was going to say, what was Alien? Is that owned by Lucasfilm?
I think it was owned by FX or something.
Okay, Fox or FX. Wait.
Fox.
No, I'm sorry.
Fox is. FX is just like their channel.
Oh, okay, yeah. Interesting.
But yeah, I mean, I'm interested to watch this. I like Alien. Although I will say the last few Alien movies were quite bad. Real stinkers.
See, it's funny. I didn't think Prometheus was god-awful.
I like Prometheus. I agree.
What was the other one? It was Alien Covenant?
Yeah, that one was not good.
I thought it was definitely... It was fun to watch. Like, I mean, I definitely don't think they had to go into all this detail of, like, oh, this is how they made the aliens. Like, I don't know. that was kind of like my low criticism for that, but...
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't mind Prometheus. I thought it was okay. I mean, some of it makes me, like, scratch my head, because it's weird, because, like, it almost seems like the timeline is, like, off, because it's, like, not in the future, but it is. But then, like, you know, Alien itself is way in the future. So it just makes me go, like, I don't understand, like, how these are, like, connecting. But maybe that's just me. Maybe I just need to look it up. I
think Prometheus was definitely trying to be, like, the original movie to start the Alien series. Because it was like, oh, this is truly where it all began. Like, the whole, like, lineage of the alien or something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway... I'm really interested in this next prequel that they're talking about.
Yeah, this is actually, like, I think a really neat idea. Pixar's Toy Story prequel Lightyear. Pixar announced a new animated film called Lightyear, one connected to the Toy Story franchise. Lightyear is described as an origin story for Buzz Lightyear, charting his rise from test pilot to space ranger. Directed by Finding Dory co-director Angus MacLean, Lightyear will star Chris Evans as voice of Buzz and is scheduled to hit cinemas in summer 2022.
Chris Evans again, Jesus. What does this guy not do?
He needs money, man. He's every hero.
He has plenty of money.
Yeah, but he wants more.
More. I kind of want to see what his net worth is after the whole MCU. I'm sure he's like a billionaire.
But yes, I agree with you. This is very interesting. This is giving me vibes to, I don't know if y'all remember this, but way back in the day, there was like an animated Buzz Lightyear series on Disney, and I thought that was kind of cool. It went into like the Buzz Lightyear universe, and I think Zurg was like the main villain still.
Yeah,
but then there were other like space rangers with Buzz, which was neat.
I do remember that. That was like on Disney, like the Disney Kids channel, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm guessing this is probably like in the same universe. It's just saying, like, yeah, like here's actually Buzz Lightyear, you know, in Space Ranger school or school, like the Space Ranger training. And I think it's kind of funny because at first when I read prequel, I'm like, that's interesting. Like, is it going to show how Buzz Lightyear was made in the factory and then why he thinks he's Buzz Lightyear? But like, oh no, this is just showing like a movie in the Buzz Lightyear universe. And I think that's cool. I think people will definitely enjoy that. You know, I'm sure it'd be very fun to watch. A lot of laughs.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'll be sad with Tim Allen not being the voice because I just feel like that's just tattooed into my brain.
Yeah, me too, man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest with y'all, there is a lot of other Disney announcements here, mostly about their IPs, which I'm not really going to cover. We should probably move on to something else. We've been on this for a while. But I do want to say, last but not least, 4 more seasons of It's Always Sunny. Disney owns FX, which owns Always Sunny. It's still going, guys. Always Sunny, the longest running live action sitcom in TV history. Let's go. I can't wait.
Oh my gosh.
That's a fact, yes.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh.
I can't wait.
I mean, even though Glenn is no longer there on the show, but you know, as Dennis
he is. What are you talking about?
Oh, he's back on.
You need to catch up, boy.
To be fair, I haven't watched it in a while, and I think it was when I heard that he wasn't going to be playing as Dennis anymore. I'm like, I stopped watching.
Well, I guess mild spoilers, but now he comes back. Don't worry.
Joy. But yeah, now I definitely have to watch it.
Yeah,
I have to get some more Frank quotes.
But that is all the big Disney Investors Day announcements. Now, I know what you guys are waiting for. That had nothing to do with video games. We need to talk video games. This is Level With Me podcast. It's all about video games. That's what we're here for. It's in our veins. It's our oath, you know.
In my blood.
What better thing to talk about, or what bigger announcement? I don't know how to put this. We're going to talk about the Game Awards. The Game Awards happened, guys. It's a big day for video games. Lots of announcements here. We're definitely not going to be able to talk about all of them because this was very jam-packed with new games and new teasers and announcements and stuff like that. We're kind of going to talk about a lot of the big stuff here. And how do you not start with the most
anticipated game of the year? Yeah.
Well, I was going to say the newest character for one Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes. How can we not? Oh. I'll be honest. I did not see it coming.
I also did not see this coming. And if you would ask my girlfriend my reaction on when one Sephiroth got announced for Smash Ultimate, I was very hype and excited. It was very out of nowhere. The trailer was very cool, how he literally slashes Galeem in half. And, Cloud is like, oh, shit, it's Sephiroth.
Yeah. Son of a bitch. I do like how they were imitating the one scene. I'm not sure if you ever watched the actual Final Fantasy movie called the Advent Children.
I haven't.
Oh, it's actually really cool. So, I mean, I know you said you're not... Have you played the original Final Fantasy yet? Or Final Fantasy 7 yet?
I have not.
Oh. Well, it's definitely more enjoyable for those who've played that game. But basically, yeah, it takes place after Final Fantasy 7, and it's actually a really fun movie to watch. Very good CGI and everything, and they were basically simulating the scenes in that movie with this trailer. With Sephiroth and Cloud. Very cool, very well done.
Yeah, I think it is really cool.
And I'm sorry, how can we not talk about the Mario scene?
Oh my God! Yes.
Again,
great.
a scene from that movie. But, oh my gosh. Oh, actually, no, I'm sorry, not from the movie. I think that was supposed to be a scene from the video game. But regardless, I was like, no way. No!
They just love killing the Mario characters in these Smash reveal trailers.
Yeah, I mean, Ridley went to town on, Mega Man and Mario and stuff.
Luigi died in the Simon Belknap.
I totally forgot what Luigi.
They're just, really pent up, I guess. This is probably some, secret digs at the company, we hate
we hate Luigi.
But
poor Luigi.
But yeah, man, Sephiroth, I think he looks awesome. He literally has his big old sword, and he's got all that range. He looks great. I'm super excited to play as him and give him a try. And I feel like he's probably only a week or two away. He might even launch Christmas, because usually what the devs will do is this week is going to be the reveal trailer. I believe it's the 17th. Or not the reveal trailer, the Sakurai, where he'll break down what Sephiroth does. And then usually it's a week or two later they'll actually release the character.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, his moveset, he just swings his big old sword, and you're going to get hit by it because it takes up half the stage.
Yeah.
He also has some sort of... I feel like it's going to be... I assume it's going to almost be Joker, where he builds up a meter where he gets his one wing, because he's the one-winged angel. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious to know what that'll do, if it'll just make his moves stronger, or maybe I'm not sure. They kind of didn't really elaborate in the trailer. It's very, when they do the reveal trailers, they don't show a lot about the character. So I'm very curious to know about that. But yes, Masahiro Sakurai and his team always give great respect to the characters when they give them a reveal trailer and, as the representation. I also really like his stance of how he holds, the sword, kind of opposite, towards his back. I think it's really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Also, he's got some great alts. If you go on the Smash Ultimate website, you can just look at all the different, colors. And he actually has, I don't know if this is a reference to the original Final Fantasy game, but there's a shirtless Sephiroth, which is kind of neat.
I'm trying to think about that now that you mention it. Was there a shirtless Sephiroth?
I don't know if it's around the end, when you actually fight him.
Actually, no. There was a shirtless Sephiroth. It was at one point, I think, in the midway part of the game. But so yeah, that's part of the game. Again, Sakurai and his team, they'll keep all those nitty gritty details in there, which is awesome. I'm actually shocked that Square Enix Square Enix they even like allowed us to get another Final Fantasy character.
Yeah. I was just going to mention this. Yeah, I was just watching Maximilian. He was talking about how Square holds those like Final Fantasy characters so tightly. They really never allow them to go out, and if they do, it costs a lot of money. I assume, if I'm going to theory craft here, this is probably our last Square Enix character. I don't think Gino is going to happen because he's a little too obscure. Unless that'd be wild if Gino still comes, but I think he might just be a little too obscure. Maybe he's done.
I think he can't be. Of all the, I'm sorry. I'm glad you mentioned that, Corey. That's a really good point because Gino is Square Enix. It's like I don't think that was like the only other Square character we're gonna get because if anything, I truly think because Gino I think was like the number one pick for a long time.
He always was, yes.
Yeah, so I really think that I really believe that Sakurai is not gonna disappoint. I'm pretty sure it was intended that he's gonna be the very last DLC character just to make everyone lose their mind and be like, they finally did it. Like
that would be amazing.
That's my guess.
Okay, I mean, I would love to see it, but I don't know. And then I really wish that Sora would have made an addition, but I don't know. I think Disney, they have not been doing great with their like video game property stuff. I think Disney, they probably just couldn't meet an agreement there, which is unfortunate again, but I'm not saying I'm upset about Sephiroth. I think he's a really cool addition. Also, people pointed out that he's like the first like villain DLC character, which is cool. There's not a lot of those.
Oh wow, is that true? Oh wow,
I believe so. Yeah, because most of the characters that come are like the hero representation of a new like third party property. So
yeah, you're right. Wow, I guess there weren't. Yeah, you're right. Wow, the first DLC villain. Interesting.
So yeah, I very much look forward to Sephiroth. I really want to try him out. He looks like a lot of fun. Yeah,
I'm really curious what his final smash is. It's probably like that little scene you saw at the end of the trailer.
I think it's he'll do like a move in front of him, and then it's like a cut scene where he transforms into that like final Sephiroth form.
Yeah, that was like the final boss in the game.
Yeah,
pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Next up here, that was only our first Game Awards announcement, guys. I thought this was pretty neat. Cinematic trailer for new Perfect Dark game revealed.
Yeah, how about that?
Coming from the studio The Initiative, a cinematic trailer for new Perfect Dark game featuring some cool first-person echo sci-fi visuals was shown. The developers confirmed the game is still early in development. This has been rumored for quite a while that The Initiative is working on this. I mean, Microsoft, I think, has owned this IP for probably about like almost 10, 20 years at this point. People always speculated that they would go back to this. Well, they actually made, was it called Perfect Dark Zero on the Xbox 360? Like, wasn't it Perfect Dark a launch title on the 360?
I actually forget. I mean, because it's funny, when I first saw this, because, like, Perfect Dark is actually a Rare title.
Yeah.
I don't know if that, like, went to a different studio, but, like, I was thinking to be a Rare title, not The Initiative. So, I don't know if they just said, hey, Xbox owns it. They said, here, Rare, have these guys work on this because you're too busy working on pirate games and the other game that
I forget what their new game is that wasn't shown at the Game Awards. I forget what it's called.
The point is, it wasn't shown, and I'm very sad.
But yeah, man, I think that's cool. Xbox needs more dunks, Like, I'm glad that they're actually, like, digging through their IP they own and be like, oh, hey, people like Perfect Dark, It'd be nice if maybe they make a new Banjo-Kazooie game or Conker's Bad Fur Day, wink, wink.
Please,
come on.
Please.
But I don't have much to say about the new Perfect Dark announcement. I've honestly never played any Perfect Dark games, but I know their lineage, especially the N64 game, was, like, kind of the second GoldenEye, if you will.
Yeah. It was a very good game. I personally think it was better than GoldenEye. But that's just...
Oh, okay. Next up, this was big for me. I really am excited for this.
Me too. I was really pumped for this. It's not exactly what I wanted, but I'll take it.
Back for Blood revealed. The creators of Left 4 Dead Turtle Rock fully revealed Back for Blood, a first-person zombie shooter with co-op. It's launching in June 2021. And I mean, that's really all you got to say, guys. I was super excited watching this. The whole time me and my girlfriend kept going like, is this just Left 4 Dead 3? Did Valve just drop Left 4 Dead 3? And then at the end...
It can't be a 3. It can't be a 3.
Yeah.
Then the meme's dead.
I kept telling her, I'm like, no, this got to be Back for Blood, like the new Left 4 Dead. And lo and behold, yes, it's Back for Blood. But pretty much just looks like a more modern, advanced Left 4 Dead. There are new special infected. You know, they have to make their own properties. I don't think you're going to see the witch or the hunter come back, but you might see something kind of similar. And you could see like new gameplay elements. It's got the same kind of personality of a Left 4 Dead where there are 4 people or humans, you know, trying to get through the zombie hordes, and they all kind of have their own personalities, and they're all kind of like chiming and chatting with one another. Kind of what those good vibes and character building of what Left 4 Dead did.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that stuff, they showed a little bit of gameplay at the end. They did like just a proper trailer, and then they did a little bit of gameplay, and yeah, you kind of see that like exploring the levels, fighting these different special infected. Something I think that looks really cool is there are really big special infected in this game, almost like Monster Hunter or Shadow of the Colossus style, like huge zombies that you have to like kind of all coordinate and fight, which I think is a cool idea. And there are other small things like new gameplay tweaks. You know, it's not going to be the exact same game, but it kind of seems like maybe you can do a little bit of weapon customization. There was at one point a character threw a grenade offhand. I don't know if there's like new types of grenades in the game. It looks good. I'm very excited. I hope they evolved Left 4 Dead from like made it more modern. I was kind of talking to my girlfriend about this. Like I feel like I think it needs to be like a little bit more different than just Left 4 Dead. I hope they did a good job on that. In my opinion, this looks great though. This is like one of my favorite announcements of the Game Awards though.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Also, I'm just going to tease this right now. When they had this trailer revealed, at the end, they also were like, hey, go to this website and you can actually play the alpha very soon. And one of your hosts here, aka me, actually did make it in that alpha.
Yes.
And maybe I'll be streaming. Maybe I'll stream some of that over the weekend because it's happening. I just got my beta key today and I was very excited.
Oh, man.
Yes, I'm very looking forward to that. Let's see here. What else can we talk about? What's some cool stuff? They showed off some more. Oh, I thought this actually looked cool. The Callisto Protocol. I hope I said that right. From the creator of Dead Space, Glenn Schofield, comes a new sci-fi horror game called The Callisto Protocol. It will launch in 2022 for Xbox Series X, PS5, and PC. Yeah, it just pretty much looked like a spiritual successor to Dead Space, which is a very good game. I've enjoyed those. So I'm excited to actually, see what this thing is. And I think it looks really cool. Next up here, I'll just point this one out. This is kind of for me. Warhammer 40k Dark Tide gameplay revealed. This is made by the people who made the other Warhammer games, Vermintide, which are kind of... So they're set in the medieval Warhammer universe, which is cool. I really love the 40k universe, which is set in the year 40k, so it's in the really, really far future. But this is like a kind of almost like another like Left 4 Dead style game, like 4-player horde co-op. You have different characters. They're almost like different classes though in this game, rather than just Left 4 Dead is more arcadey, just like pick up your different weapons. But I thought this looked really cool. I'm excited for that.
Nice.
There were a lot of announcements here that we're not covering, but I hope any of y'all listening don't think they're not like important. Just going through here, Open Roads is like this new interactive storytelling game. It had like a neat like art style that looked cool. Disco Elysium Final Cut, which is kind of like a definitive edition, is coming to the PS4 and PS5 and PC, and I heard that's a really good like isometric RPG type of game. We saw a little bit of Dragon Age 4, which looked pretty cool. BioWare's still doing things. They're also doing something else, but we didn't get there yet. Let's see. I thought this looked kind of interesting. Crimson Desert, first gameplay trailer revealed. So this is made by the Black Desert developers, I believe. And this is like a brand new like MMO. And I was just surprised at like the visuals and like how big this world is and the fidelity of it running. Like it just looked really cool. I don't know if I would ever play it. I don't really play MMOs, but I was just like pretty impressed by it. We have the Swedish chef from the Muppets coming to Overcooked 2. That was random, but okay. Oh, I thought this looked really neat. Stunning indie game Season revealed. An indie game coming from the Scavengers studio and featuring some Studio Ghibli-like visuals called Season was announced for PS5. So it reminded me like an old school like adventure game, like literally this woman roaming around these like beautiful environments with her bike, and it just looked really, really great. Like, yes, very Ghibli-esque with the colors and the themes, and man, I'm actually pretty excited for that. That looks really cool. There was also a trailer for the new Call of Duty expansion and what that's going to cover. I believe that comes out in 2 days. I'm going to check that out. Or that might come out tomorrow. I forget. Okay, this one was random, and it made me laugh. Arc 2 announced, and it featured one Vin Diesel as the main character. That super random, as it's like Vin Diesel as this caveman fighting orcs and dinosaurs, and me and my girlfriend the whole time are going like, what is this? Like, what's going on?
It's Vin Diesel as Vin Diesel.
Yeah. And I made the quote of the year where I said, I can't wait to see Vin Diesel take a big shit. Because if you guys don't know, in Arc, your character will actually just poop. And there's poop that you can pick up. So I guess in Arc 2, Vin Diesel will just shit all over the place. Let's see here. You got a new Fall Guys trailer. Oh, yo, there's an Evil Dead game. Also very 4-player horde-like co-op game. But I like that. I like the Evil Dead. Bruce Campbell's there. He's got his chainsaw arm. We can talk about this one. We love Nintendo here on the Level With Me podcast. Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection. Announced for Nintendo Switch. This is... I assume this is a... I don't know if this is just a remake of Ghosts and Goblins or if this is like a brand new Ghosts and Goblins, but it's coming out on February 25th, 2021. And I saw a lot of controversy about the art style. A lot of people were saying it's kind of like this shill, cheap, mobile-looking thing. But I don't know. I kind of dug the art style. It kind of reminded me more of like a paper craft or like a children's like bedtime story. I don't know.
Yeah.
I kind of like it. I'm kind of excited for this one.
Well, let me just chime in. I think maybe people are just upset because what else did Nintendo have to show at the Game Awards?
That's true.
It was just... So I think that's why they're like, this is it. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's Ghosts and Goblins. And that's great. But this is all you have to show us, a game with this art style. It's kind of like... It's probably like the exact same thing when people were looking forward to Zelda. They got the Wind Waker trailer, you know, before people played it, and they're just like, "Oh, this is all you have to show." Like, you know, this cell shading graphic game. Like, I'm pretty sure that's what people were just thinking. Like, of all the great games that are announced here, we have Sephiroth announced for Smash, great, and then Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection. Like, that's why the people are mad. People are probably waiting for a Breath of the Wild trailer, a Mario Odyssey 2 trailer, like something big. And it's sad that we didn't get that.
I can see that point of view. Yeah, I understand that. That makes more sense. But yeah, I just think that looks cool. I like seeing Capcom like kind of touch on their history of games. And
yeah.
I mean, I don't know how well of a series Ghosts and Goblins is, like overall, like how many people really love it. It's actually a very hard game. I've played some of it back in the day, but I think it's cool. I like Arthur. I want to play this game. I think it looks fun. Let's see here. What else do we got that we can talk about? Again, just a lot of stuff newly announced. Oh, there was a new Elder Scrolls Online announcement for a new expansion, and the whole time I was like, oh my god, are they showing Elder Scrolls 6? Is this Elder Scrolls 6? Yeah, no.
No.
Monster Hunter Rise had a new trailer. That's the exclusive Monster Hunter game on the Switch, and there's also a demo, coming up in January 2021.
I just forgot about that. That's also
yeah,
a little thing.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that game. I know it's going to be a hit. Among Us is getting a new map. That was huge. Also a Jeff Keighley mask. That's fun. Master Chief is in Fortnite. I'm pretty sure that got announced, or it was leaked a few weeks before the announcement, but nonetheless, it's still cool. Also, hella weird. I don't know if any of y'all watched the Game Awards, but right after that announcement, there's a skit with Red versus Blue, Sarge and Griff are just talking, and then Ninja comes out and I'm like, what year is it? I can't believe I'm watching a Red versus Blue skit in 2020. I'm just wow, this is weird. I don't even know if Jeff from Rooster Teeth even works at Rooster Teeth anymore. I digress, though. What else do we got here? They showed the gameplay of the new League of Legends single-player game, A Ruined King. That actually looked pretty neat. It was it kind of reminded me of this game that came out a few years ago. Oh God, what was it called? It's a turn-based RPG, but it looks fun. I think that's kind of neat. And then last but not least, funny enough, so this was the last reveal of the Game Awards, and my girlfriend is getting kind of late. She was passing out and falling asleep. The second you see the character pick up this little thing and wipe it off, it's this space game trailer. I kept thinking this was Bethesda's new game called Starfield that they're working on. But then the character picks up this little thing and wipes it off, and you see the N7, and I'm just oh my God, yo! And I'm waking her up and yelling, and she's kind of half asleep, and she's what's going on? I'm look, there's a new Mass Effect game they're teasing. You like Mass Effect? And I think she just went back to sleep. But yes,
it's funny but sad.
There's a new Mass Effect game that is being worked on, and I'm glad that they're still working on it. I think Mass Effect is a cool IP. I have no attachment to it. I'm looking forward to playing the trilogy when it comes out sometime in the beginning of next year, but I think that's cool. I don't want Mass Effect to die. I don't want EA to stop making their single-player RPGs, especially BioWare. I think they're good developers, but this wasn't for me necessarily, but it still got me excited.
Oh, that's awesome. I think it definitely is exciting because if this could be a revitalization of the series, then that's great because it definitely ended on a lower note. But
I think I could see this. There were people kind of speculating since EA is actually going to release this trilogy that maybe this new game is going to play more off of the original trilogy because from what I understand in Mass Effect Andromeda, that cut all ties with the original trilogy, or apparently how the game ends in Mass Effect 3, they kind of do that where it's just Andromeda was a clean wipe. It was just a new game set in the Mass Effect universe. But people are speculating, and I could even see that this new Mass Effect game is going to be more about Shepard and the original members and stuff like that. But that's all speculation. Who knows? But that was pretty much all the announcements at the Game Awards. We finally got through it. Overall, I think it was very good.
Oh yeah, I think it's definitely a nice meaty dump of information.
If I do want to make one comment about the awards themselves, it was unfortunate that a lot of the awards went to The Last of Us Part 2. And it's funny because we had that one viewer who actually said about the controversy that he thought a lot of the Last of Us Part 2 was probably going to just win Game of the Year.
Yeah.
And I guess he was right. And I was kind of surprised how many awards that Last of Us Part 2 got. Granted, I did think it was a very good game from what I played of it. I never beat it. But yeah, I was honestly a little surprised.
I was starting to hear a lot of people give Ghost of Tsushima a lot of crap. People were saying that game because I thought that game was really also hyped up to be potential game of the year. What else was there? The Final Fantasy VII remake. I think
Doom Eternal was on that list. Hades, and I think the last one was Animal Crossing: New Horizons, which I feel really got shafted. I mean, it won the Family Game of the Year, but I don't know. I feel like Animal Crossing should have took it.
I can definitely agree with that. It definitely has the potential to win, but what are you gonna do?
And shouts out to Among Us. It won a lot of awards, and it gave me really good feels because like that game was so small and just started blowing up like a few months ago.
It was big, yeah.
And it was so like heartwarming to see like the 4 people. I believe that studio is very small too, but just how happy they were to win these awards. It was very good feelings. It's also really weird watching all the like game developers, accept the awards from like their Zoom calls or whatever, like just in their like little offices or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's 2020 for you.
But yeah, that's pretty much all we got for the Game Awards. Let's talk about some other video game news. We still got a few stories here. Quite a few, actually. That was only like our first video game story. So, unless you're living under a rock, you probably heard that Cyberpunk 2077 launched last week. And a lot of people were surprised that this game was not the end-all, be-all video game. They really were like, oh man, I thought I was going to play Cyberpunk and never have to play a video game again. Some people get very hyped for games and get very let down. That's kind of the vibes I'm trying to throw out here. But with that being said...
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was saying, to be fair, this game did have a lot going for it. Like I can see where the hype came from.
Yeah. And we're gonna get into discussing this soon after reading this article. Cyberpunk 2077 CD Projekt Red apologizes for not showing base PS4, Xbox One versions before launch. CD Projekt Red has apologized for not showing the base PS4 and Xbox One versions of Cyberpunk 2077 before launch, promised more patches, and offered refunds to those unsatisfied. In a statement on Twitter signed by senior members of the studio, the developers addressed player concerns about major issues when Cyberpunk is run on original PS4 and Xbox One consoles. First of all, reads the statement, we would like to start by apologizing to you for not showing the game on base last-gen consoles before it premiered, and, in consequence, not allowing you to make a more informed decision about your purchase. We should have paid more attention to making it play better on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. And I feel like that's where a lot of this controversy comes from with Cyberpunk. We shouldn't really even talk about like what I was saying before, like this is some end-all, be-all game. And I'll talk about more like about the gameplay and the structure of the game later because I have played a decent amount of this. But I can definitely see why people are upset about playing this on a base PS4 or base Xbox One. Because as someone who is playing it on the original PS4 that came out in 2013, it does not look great. And it does not perform that great.
That's interesting because like I obviously have not played the game myself. I heard the controversy. I heard people complaining about it. So hearing this from you, I'm actually happy to get like some actual like actual feedback from somebody. So you do agree it does not look that great?
It looks a little like rough around the edges. And I was very surprised because if you look at video games in the last generation when we hit that like new console era, there were a lot of video games that were still coming out on the 360 and PS3 that were like new on the Xbox One and PS4. And they honestly all look pretty good. Like I remember I played Titanfall on my Xbox 360 and I thought it looked pretty good and played pretty well. So I was a little shocked popping in Cyberpunk 2077 on my base PS4 and it kind of didn't look that great. I will say I haven't really had anything like mainly the issues are just like the load times and the graphics. The load time, I shouldn't even really say the load times. They're not that bad, but it's just the world being rendered. Sometimes you'll go like if you run too much because it's an open world game, the models will start like, bugging out or
the anti what's that term called? Anti-aliasing, I think that's what it's called. Yeah.
And just like rendering of the whole world, like some things will end up looking like, N64 level models before they all load in all their features. And even some of the like lighting effects in the game. Like, and you know what, guys? Like, honestly, I can see both sides of it. Like, I don't think it looks that great on the PS4. And especially as someone who's now like seen a lot of gameplay of it on PC, I was going to say PS5, but I honestly haven't seen gameplay on the next gen consoles or the current gen now. But I can definitely see why people are upset, because on PCs who have like the proper credentials, it does run very well and look very good. But again, I'm playing this on a system that came out in 2013. But I am both sides. I can see why people are upset. Like, they should have shown people that, hey, this version, it's not going to work very well, you know? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like both ways on it. Like, but at the same time, I am playing it, and you can play it. It just doesn't look great compared to the other versions. Like, this is definitely probably the worst version on a base PS4 or Xbox One. But I am having fun, and it does work. It's just, yeah, you're going to see a lot of rough edges, like, a lot of the time. And a lot
it's kind of like as if... No, I'm going to go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, a lot of the assets, too, are, like, very low resolution. I think it's just because everything that's going on in the game. Because it is very much a thriving, living city. You know, as you walk around Night City, there are cars and people walking around all over the place. Like, a lot of stuff is going on at a time, and there's like a lot of little like stands and stuff like that. There's a lot of, all the models are like randomized too. Like, I've never actually seen like two of the same characters walking next to each other or near each other. It can happen from what I've heard, but personally on me, I've never seen it. It's just, this is a very demanding game, and I do agree that I think they just should have done a better job letting people know that, hey, this is not going to be a great experience. Like, maybe even said, like, we recommend playing the game on, like, a PS4 Pro or the PS5. I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just going to chime in and say, like, I wonder if they were better off, like, just saying to people, like, or like admitting that this is definitely a next-gen game. It can and the kind of admit I mean, that's kind of what they're apologizing, saying that they didn't have anything for the Xbox 4, but like they should just like straight out said, this is a next gen game. It can run on the old consoles. It's like reporting it to those consoles, but it will not. I mean, you know, like that's like imagining like an Xbox game being able to run Halo 3. It's like, all right, well, somehow we got the Xbox One. The original Xbox, not Xbox One. The original, God, I hate the naming scheme.
Yeah,
the original the original Xbox to run Halo 3, and like it just looks like crap. And it's like, well, yeah, it runs on it, but it's made for the next gen. So that's kind of what they probably should have announced. But
and
I don't know.
You know, it's funny you say that, because that gets even more confusing. Because right now you actually can't buy a quote-unquote current-gen version of this game. Like, you can only buy it on PS4 or Xbox One. Of course, though, you can pop in the Cyberpunk disc on your PS5 or your Xbox Series X, and it'll just run better, or how it should actually look, you know? But again, like, at the same time, graphics aren't everything, and I've been enjoying Cyberpunk. I've been starting to look past all the grime and grit of the game. And CD Projekt Red in this statement has said they're committed to trying to address a lot of these bugs and try to make the games perform better on these base models. But I don't know. Like, again, I feel both ways about it. I don't think it looks that good, but at the same time, I also think that people should kind of expect that. But I don't know, like, CD Projekt Red should have showed this off, or like you said, just said, hey, this will run better on a next-gen system, or with these like minimum specs. I don't know. It's tough. And just like a follow-up article with this, you know, they kind of mentioned how they were allowing like refunds, but apparently some of the refunds aren't guaranteed because, of course, you know, with each of the different platforms, they have to go through the different refunding process, but they haven't, like, I guess, like, actually talked to Sony or Microsoft about, like, getting these refunds, because a lot of people feel, like, cheated or whatever. So I don't even know if some people are going to be able to get, like, a full refund, which is kind of, it's unfortunate. It sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of weird, because, like, depending on how they got the game, especially, like, with these, like, electronic purchases, like, I don't know how it's gonna work. It's not like the team can go back to, like, you know, Microsoft or Sony and be like, hey guys, can we get our money back or like, I guess they're the ones giving the money back to the customers, and then they come over to CD the Project Red, whatever, and say, hey guys, can we have our money back? Because, we had to give all these refunds back to the people who bought the game from us. So,
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
Interesting.
And it's a shame because, like, I honestly think this is a very good game. Well, I'll talk about it more later, but it's just tricky.
Yeah, like, we don't want to see the game fail, That's kind of like we don't want it to fail. We want it to succeed. It's just that, hey, this company made some poor decisions. At least they're coming out and apologizing, as opposed to like Bethesda, who's just like, why? Like, just give the game some time. It'll be fine,
True.
And like,
That's right. Yeah. And
you have phones, right? Oh no, that was Blizzard.
Oh my God! Let's not bring up the phone thing. Who knows where Blizzard is right now? They're just holding on to dear life with Overwatch, trying to be like, guys, you like esports, right?
I think they're basically like hanging onto like a cliff with their pinkies, and there's like just a little baby with a Hearthstone slab on his head, and he's holding them up. That's all it is at this point.
I also feel like they were kind of put at a weird situation here. I don't think they could actually have pushed the game back again, but they probably should have and just been like, yeah, we're not going to have this release on PS4s or Xbox Ones, maybe. I don't know. All right, that's enough about Cyberpunk. We'll talk more about that later. Well, I will, at least. Now, we got some Resident Evil Village updates. So, this is a public service announcement. Apparently, Resident Evil Village spoilers have leaked. So, you might want to mute certain words. Let me read the article. I mean, they're not going to talk about the spoilers, so don't worry. It appears that major story details have leaked for Resident Evil Village, with posts on gaming message boards, image hosts, and other social platforms spreading the news. The leak follows a recent ransomware attack on developer Capcom. Although it's currently unclear if the release of these details is directly linked to the attack, what does appear clear is someone has acquired a development build of the game and posted a variety of screenshots and story details. These details include the game's ending, as well as plot threads for returning characters. The screenshots additionally reveal a variety of previously unknown enemy types. So all that's out there. I'm just letting y'all know, be careful.
Don't go on Reddit. That's why we're all just
and it's a shame. I kind of felt bad thinking about this more because a lot of the gaming podcasts I listen to were talking about, oh, should we even cover like this ransomware attack? Like how a few podcasts talk about like all the games are on their like Street Fighter 6 and all that other stuff. Like people are like, well, should we even cover that? Because it was a ransomware attack. Like that was almost like, a terrorist like type thing on Capcom. It was kind of an accident, but I don't know. And it sucks to see stuff like this come out there. But I'm glad like people are just like giving other people a heads up, But with that being said, Capcom has also come out and addressed this recently and revealed some new screenshots of Resident Evil Village. Capcom has given IGN a small but nevertheless welcome update on the status of the next-gen Resident Evil Village, aka Resident Evil 8. The publisher has also provided 3 exclusive new screenshots, which you can see in the gallery at IGN.com. Peter Fabio, producer of Resident Evil Village, tells IGN, "We're really excited for fans to experience Resident Evil Village when it comes out in 2021. We feel it's an accumulation, of all the best elements of Resident Evil games from the past 25 years, with everything fans love about action-infused survival horror, plus new surprises. Of course, there are plenty of puzzles to solve and mysteries to unfold. We hope fans will enjoy exploring the desolate, snowy village in Resident Evil Village. Which takes place where enemies new to the franchise are waiting for them. Players will once again take control of Ethan Winters, experiencing more of the story set in motion in Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. New technologies are allowing us to immerse players in the game in ways we couldn't achieve before, in what we hope will be the most pulse-pounding Resident Evil game to date." So maybe that's them just kind of addressing in a way, or just kind of saying, hey guys, sit tight. I mean, if this happened, I could honestly see Resident Evil Village coming out pretty early next year. Although, considering they haven't announced anything about that yet, maybe not. It will be more like halfway through the year. I'm going to say, though, it's coming out pretty soon. But yeah, just be careful out there with the spoilers if you're really into that. usually don't go looking for a lot of those announcements, but sometimes you'll see something and be like, oh, is that real? Is that canon? And then it's like, oh yeah, it actually is. It's not a mod or anything like that. So I thought this was pretty cool. This is a little Nintendo adjacent. We're going to start talking about our good old boy Nintendo and their Nintendo news.
Oh boy.
Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo partner on commitment to safer gaming. Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo have partnered together in an effort to protect the safety of their players in our connected and socially focused world. Announced on Xbox Wire, Corporate Vice President of Xbox Operations Dave McCarthy discussed how he and the team believe that gaming is for all players of all ages, including our youngest and most vulnerable players. However, protecting players online is not an easy task and requires a multidisciplinary approach that is only enhanced when working together with the likes of Nintendo and PlayStation. At Xbox, we are aligned with both Nintendo on behalf of the community of Nintendo Switch players and PlayStation in our belief that protecting players online requires a multidisciplinary approach, one that combines the benefits of advanced technology and supportive community and skilled human oversight. We can accomplish more when we work toward the same goal, so we will each continue investing in evolving and amplifying our approaches to user safety. As we continue this work, we will prioritize protecting the safety of our players, especially those most vulnerable.
Well, that's very good.
I don't necessarily know if this just means like people getting bullied online or if it's talking about like literally getting like their accounts like stolen or like their information, you know. Maybe it's a little bit of both.
It might also be with like, it might also be with like any like of that like downloadable content that like, you know, or like the advertisements possibly. Like I think there's a big talk about like how like when children are on like any kind of platform, whether it be like a computer or like your gaming system that has like updates and again the what the hell is it called? I lost my train of thought. To be honest, I saw the next article pop up and I lost my train of thought.
That's fine.
Darn it.
It was just about you were talking about like the advertisements.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think it's like they're just trying to look out to protect kids from the marketing schemes of the gaming world and stuff. That's kind of what I thought. Because I mean, technically, everybody's vulnerable to like when your system gets hacked, not just children. You know,
that's true.
That's just like yeah.
It does always make me feel good when my big video game corporations come together and say we're here for you. I'm like, oh, thanks, guys. Even though I know they're here for my wallet. Maybe they're not here for me.
Yeah, we're here for you and your precious wallet.
Hey, we know you like us. Buy our thing. Okay, I will.
Yeah, and admittedly, it's exactly what we do. Like, all right, whatever. We welcome our new gaming overlords, and we hand them our gold.
All right, now we're going to head into our last news segment of the news stories, which is all Nintendo focused. Here at Level With Me, we love Nintendo. We like to talk about them at the end. We save the best for last. So, of course, Mike got distracted by the words Donkey Kong Country. Donkey Kong Country 3 leads December 2020's Nintendo Switch Online SNES and NES games. December's 2020 Nintendo Switch Online games are NES Nightshade and SNES Donkey Kong Country 3 Dixie Kong's Double Trouble, The Ignition Factor, Super Valis 4, and Tough Enough. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, I have never heard of any of these games besides Donkey Kong Country 3. That's my piece.
Well, I'm right there with you, Corey. I want to say I have heard of Tough Enough. And not much. I just think I've heard the name. I don't know what the game's about.
I believe they announced this morning or yesterday, but when I watched the little trailer that Nintendo puts up where they show all the games, I actually thought the Ignition Factor looked kind of interesting. It's got like a Zelda like top-down style, and you play as like a firefighter, and you like switch different types of weapons to put out like different types of fire and get through different types of like barriers and stuff like that, and you save people. Weapons.
Get out the bazooka, the shit to stop the fire.
Well, they had like an axe, and I shouldn't say weapons. It was like a fire extinguisher, and yeah, you're right.
I just think it's funny. Like switch to the handgun. Boom, 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 boom.
These bullets will put out the fire.
Take that, fire.
And then Tough Enough to me looked like kind of a crappy Street Fighter 2 clone, but that's just me.
Oh man.
Also, Nightshade on the NES is funny because I've watched a JonTron video where he literally talks about how bad that game is, but they've done that a lot. Like, I think there's like another NES game. I think it was the last one. It was like that kind of like Dungeons and Dragons looking one. I think the Angry Video Game Nerd did a video on that and how it also isn't a great game, but whatever.
Shadowgate? Is that
Shadowgate? Yeah.
Yeah, I heard the game's pretty brutal.
Which is funny that they're like kind of putting these like infamous, like, I wonder if they add these games because
just mature people.
yeah. I don't really have much to say on these. Is Donkey Kong Country 3 like a good one?
Yes, I think I mentioned before in the podcast, I love the Donkey Kong Country games, and everyone, for the most part, everyone thinks and agrees that Donkey Kong Country 2 is like perfect and probably is the best of all the games. You know, arguably one of the best games ever created, especially for the Super Nintendo. And Donkey Kong Country 3 gets a lot of hate. I personally think the game's incredible. I actually do think that Donkey Kong Country 1 is my least favorite. It's a great game. I mean, plenty of people prefer that over Country 2 in some cases, but I think 1's my least favorite, and 2 and 3 are like right next to each other. But I will give it to I think Country 2 is the better game, but Country 3 is still a lot of fun. It's definitely more challenging. I think that definitely is probably the most challenging of the game. I would highly recommend anybody to give it a shot, though. It's awesome. And hey, now that you can with it, it's on the eShop, or not the eShop, but the online thing.
Yeah, the Switch Online, whatever you call it.
Oops, sorry, my puppy just came home.
That's okay. I was just gonna say my girlfriend also just came home, and she brought one of the things that I was able to do during my quarantine was I did go out and do some nice Christmas photos, and we're gonna send some Christmas cards to everyone.
Oh boy, that's nice.
Yeah, and she showed me them, and they're really cute. She was doing a photo shoot a few nights ago with our cat Stu in front of a little Christmas tree, and they turned out great. It was funny. Yeah. She made good use of the studio quality lights I bought a few years ago when I wanted to make YouTube videos that I never used.
Oh, here we go. Do that.
And then last but not least here, literally this happened today. There was a new, I believe this was the last of 2020 Nindy showcase. And there were a bunch of big home runs that were announced during here. First of all, right off the bat, which I think is really cool, Among Us. It just launched on Nintendo Switch. That's great.
That's awesome.
I'm trying to read here. I wonder, I don't know if it has cross-play or not, which I think would be really neat. I'm not sure. But other than that, it's still really big.
Yeah, I actually, I never really got into it. I mean, I think the memes are funny, and I love the gameplay. Yeah. I don't play it. I don't play it as much. Maybe now that if it's on the Switch, I will play more.
And
just because
I saw someone even point this out, and I don't even know how this would work, but I don't know if you have to go through the rigmarole using that horrible Nintendo Switch voice chat. I don't know how that works, you know?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Because that's a big part about Among Us, talking
to each other, yeah, and to convince them. Oh, man. I wonder. I think you can use a headset with the Switch.
You're right. Yeah, I think you're right.
I think you can. I think you can use a standard headset, so maybe, I guess, with a microphone, so that should work. I'm hoping at the very least.
It does get a little weird, though. What if you want to play it at your house, you know? And you're sitting on your you have the Switch docked, because you have it, you know, the controller doesn't have any port for a headphone, so you'd have to use the app on your phone. It's a mess. I don't know why they decide to do voice chat like that, but whatever.
I know, damn it, Nintendo. Wait, don't the Pro controllers have an adapter?
I don't think they do. I have one right next to me. I don't think there's any port to plug in a headset. I think you'd have to use it through the app. Yeah, there's nothing, dude. It's just a USB-C. Yeah.
Nintendo.
I mean, it's cool that it's there, but yeah, Nintendo. Why didn't you just make it normal?
Yeah, why did you have to be different?
I think this one's really cool. Spelunky and Spelunky 2 are coming to Nintendo Switch next year.
That's pretty neat.
I've heard nothing but love about these games. I've never played. Well, Spelunky 2 just came out like a few months ago, but yeah, I'm actually very curious. Maybe I'll end up picking up on there. I don't know, but I've always heard good things about these games. All right, let's see. What else do we have here that's of note? I thought this looked funny. It's called Fisty Fluffs. It is a 4-player like brawler action game, party game where you kind of play as like cats and you literally just do like cat stuff. Like that's kind of your like actions. It's not like you're a cat that's like walks around like a human and uses like boxing gloves or weapons. Like it's like you're a little cat and you have like cat physics. I thought that looks like it could be like a silly, like YouTube or Twitch like fun time.
It sounds like it's a pretty funny game.
Yeah. Another game that I thought looked pretty neat, Cyber Shadow, published by Shovel Knight's Yacht Club Games and developed by Mechanical Head Studios. Cyber Shadow is a throwback 2D action platformer with more than a dozen bosses and ninjutsu skills to master. Exclusive to the Switch edition is the ability to use Shovel Knight amiibo to bring in helper characters inspired by the SKU, the Shovel Knight universe. Cyber Shadow hits Switch on January 26th, and I think that looks really cool. It again,
I love the art.
Like
yeah,
that Ninja Gaiden, Super Nintendo style. I
love it.
I think this game would be a banger.
Yeah, I love it.
Let's see here. Is there anything else I really want to bring up? There were a couple, like, a bunch of, like, indie games announced. On the bottom, there's some nice little blurbs. Super Meat Boy Forever, coming out December 23rd. I'm excited for that. I think the release date was actually announced at the Game Awards for that. Grindstone came out actually today, and I heard that's a good game. That was originally on mobile, but it's like a puzzle hack and slash type game. Let's see, what else do we have here? Nothing else too crazy, There was a bunch of cool indie games announced. I just wanted to hit the big hitters, though, so to say. Okay. And that's going to do it for the news. We finally made it through.
Oh.
Don't worry, there'll be more news next week, Mike.
I know, but I'm sad now.
Maybe not as much news because we're getting closer to Christmas, but some news.
Maybe we'll get that Sephiroth demo. That'd be cool.
Oh, yeah. But now we're going to move on to our second half of the podcast where we talk about what we've been watching and playing over the past week. What do you want to do, Mike? Do you want me to go first or should you go first?
Unfortunately, because of my terrible work schedule, I really don't have much to contribute. So if you don't mind, I'll gladly go first. Just
okay.
So that way,
sure.
Give you your spotlight. So, gaming wise, I did download everybody Doom Eternal, so I can't wait to play that.
Nice.
Can't wait to play that. I haven't played it yet because I just haven't had time.
You also had to delete everything off your Switch to install.
Oh my god! No, well, here's a question. What does archiving mean? I had to archive everything.
I don't know.
Yeah, like I went on there and it's like, okay, I want to download it, and it's like, okay, you don't have enough space, and I was like, oh no, I forgot. It's like it's like a 20 gig game. Then I'm like, it says, oh, well, you can archive your other games, and I'm like, what does that mean? So I said, sure, I guess. I thought it because I have the Nintendo Switch Online like save data thing, so I thought, does it mean it's going to archive it to there? I don't think that's what it means. So I might have just lost my Breath of the Wild save data. I don't know, but anyway,
maybe that's what archiving mean. Maybe that means it saves just that kind of stuff. I don't know.
That's what I think. I think it mentioned like games that were downloaded, like for example, I downloaded Ukulele. I didn't get the physical copy. So I think it just means like maybe it was archived, so it's no longer on my Switch, but I can re-download it for free because I technically already bought the game. That's kind of what I'm thinking it means.
Yeah.
Regardless,
you can do that stuff on the eShop already, though.
Yeah. Well, then I don't know. I guess I hope Doom Eternal's worth it. We'll see how that goes. I am pretty pumped for that game. I've been needing a good shooter game, but and I did enjoy the last one.
I was gonna say though, do you not have any additional storage on your Switch?
I do have like SD cards. I think I should just use those. But I guess I was just underestimating how much space was on the Switch.
Yeah, because funny enough, when right before the Switch came out, I was so hype. I bought like all sorts of. Well, I didn't buy a lot of little attachments for it, but I bought like a carrying case in case I want to bring it with me. But I also ended up buying I think I got a 64 gigabyte SD card because it was like not that bad, like on sale. But yeah, I like haven't even thought about my memory once. Not that I have a lot of digital games. Most of my games I get physical.
Yeah, me too. But
yeah, unfortunately, Doom Eternal didn't have that option.
Yeah.
Which is strange. I don't know why they didn't do that. Maybe it's just
I
because
really don't know.
the cart. Because I know a lot of developers have talked about how they can't fit a lot of games on the cart. Like it has very small memory. So maybe something with that. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, because then there's Breath of the Wild's a big game, so I'm not quite sure the argument for that, but I don't know. It could be true.
Wizards, man.
Yeah. Again, maybe CD technology still would have been better, but obviously, with the Switch being portable, the cartridge route was a better idea.
UMDs, baby. Bring back the PSP.
Oh, God. Yeah, I do need a new doorstop, so. But anyway, so that's.
So you will play Doom Eternal by next week, maybe.
I really hope so. I hope so. Anyway. Ooh, there's an airplane flying over me.
You're getting to Doom Eternal before me, and I bought it on launch day. Terrific.
Now, what I've been watching, I actually did just finish up that show I mentioned last week, The Dragon Prince. I could not stop watching it. It just,
nice.
Yeah. I mean, like on my weekend, I was getting a lot of stuff done around the house, and I just had it on in the background, and I like blasted right through it. And I have to admit, I really enjoyed it. The show's the show's not done. The show is by no means over. I think season 4. Unfortunately, is still in the works, and I think somewhere on Google, I looked at some news about season 4's like release date, and it was pushed back due to the pandemic, which is unfortunate but understandable. So we still gotta wait for season 4, but up until season 3, I have to admit I am really enjoying the show. It's kind of like a nice little like season 3 kind of concluded a nice little arc, and so now there's like going to be like a new arc, and like season 3 definitely left you on a cliffhanger where it's like, okay, now we kind of know what the new villain's going to be. There's going to be like a new story, so I'm pretty pumped for that. And it's funny because I can't help but make a lot of comparisons to Avatar since this is by the same creator.
Naturally.
Yeah, and I would say I do. Again, the show's not over yet, so I guess I still can't make some of these judgment calls. But I'll say, from what I've seen so far, Avatar is still better. I think it's just that show just has such great writing. It has such a great story structure where like it can just have like it goes where like that whole show revolves around a war, and then all the other episodes kind of have like your characters going and meeting all these new people with the war story tying it all together.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're kind of seeing some similar to that with the Dragon Prince. Again, I don't want to go into too much spoilers, but there's less episodes for one. So the show only has like 27 episodes, where like Avatar will have like 20 episodes in one season. So the show is definitely like shorter, and the episodes I think they're about the same length. But again, less episodes, so they really can't have a lot of episodes where they're just going off on like all these random tangent adventures to meet all these crazy characters and how they all tie in together and somehow in the end it's like no. Like every episode is very important. Where like it plays it very safe. Like what the story is, what the goal is for these heroes, and they're doing that. Like they'll meet like really fun characters along the way, and like there will be like some like plot twists and changes to the stories and character development. But it plays it very safe. But the story is very solid, and that's what I love about it. And I will say this after watching it, like the art style has really grown on me. Like this whole I think I mentioned last time, it reminds me of like the cell shading graphics that they use for Fire Emblem 3 Houses.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But whenever the screen is not moving, like whenever the characters aren't moving, they look just like the 2D artwork from Avatar and Korra. And I love that. I love those character designs and the art style. So when you see like these 3D images, like almost like convert to the 2D style, the artwork of the creators that the creators draw, I love it. I love it so much.
That's cool.
And it's really grown on me, and I definitely can't wait for the next season to come up. And for anybody, I really recommend you guys watch it. If you are fans of Avatar and you were a little disappointed with Korra, go watch Dragon Prince. I think you'll like it a lot.
Awesome.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's all I really have to contribute to this. So, Corey, what have you been watching and playing?
Oh, that's fine, Mike. I actually got a lot that I can on my plate this week.
Oh
Um,
man.
so of course I have. Well, actually, like I almost didn't include JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but I did happen to watch one episode today, right before the podcast. So I guess I am continuing to watch it. But I
Nice.
just I haven't found a lot of time for it because it's kind of something I watch on my own. I don't really will watch it when Megan's with me, and she's been like with me pretty much all the time because she's also been like quarantined. So we must have been watching other stuff, but yeah, today I got a chance to watch a little bit of that, and that's still good. I want to watch more of that. I also haven't got all the way caught up with The Mandalorian, but I'm pretty much there. I'm just one episode behind at this point. And,
I did. I will just chime in. I did watch that this week also.
Okay.
Please forgive my dog barking.
Oh no, it's all good. And I want to say I'm really digging where the season's going. We talked about like the first few episodes. It's like, oh, okay, it's just some like it was just kind of random, but I feel like now there's definitely more of a structure on what the story is and what's going on with the story a few episodes into it. And there are a lot of cool like again, kind of playing off like what the first like couple episodes they had like some nice nods and references to the older Star Wars stuff. That's kind of the vibe of this like whole season. They're really bringing back a lot of like fan favorite stuff, which is just great. And it's been going well. I'm really digging it. We all know Baby Yoda's name. Baby Yoda now has 3 different names. Baby Yoda, the child, and I'm not going to say it, but
It's Rupert.
The second I heard that, I just kept like making dumb names for my girlfriend. I'm like, oh, his name's like Todd, or I'll just make up words because it's Star Wars. I'll be like, oh, I bet it's Blappa, or I don't know, something weird.
Sephiroth.
But yeah, that's been going really well. I've been really enjoying that, and there's a lot of cool stuff going on there. It's good. I watched a new movie. I think this came out this year. Maybe it came out last year. It is I forget. Okay, I'm glad my girlfriend's here. She can answer me this. Is the Happiest season, is that a Netflix exclusive or Hulu? It's Hulu? Okay. Did it come out this year?
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Live reactions. So
Thanks, Megan.
we watched a new movie on Hulu called Happiest Season, and it's pretty good. It is essentially these 2 women are in a relationship, and the one is bringing the one home for Christmas to her family, but she didn't, come out to her family and tell them that she's a lesbian or gay, whatever. So there's kind of this just like awkward like back and forth. She's just essentially kind of her friend, and while she's with her family, since they don't know this, they're egging on like that she meet like her old boyfriend from high school, because I guess she didn't have like her proper feelings yet. And I don't know, like this movie, it's kind of like it just kind of felt like a very traditional like Christmas movie. Like it just had like good moments. A lot of the characters are kind of weird though. Like you kind of like a lot of the times like aren't rooting for any of them. But I will say at the end there is like a nice like payoff, and it kind of just gives you a nice like heartwarming feeling. I don't know. I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was like pretty good.
Nice.
It's called The Happiest Season if they all want to watch it. It's like an hour and a half long. It's just a nice like family Christmas movie. A very 2020 inclusive Christmas movie. And then last but not least, all I gotta say is me and my girlfriend have been watching a ton of Jeopardy and the Impractical Jokers. It's
nothing wrong with that.
It's kind of fascinating watching Jeopardy. Like, I don't know like anything, but every once in a while there'll be like one like question theme. I don't know what they're called, but then I'll just nail them. Like there was one for video games, and I'm like, here we go. This is my moment to shine, and I got them all right. I would have won that $2,000 or whatever it is. But yeah, that's good old popcorn garbage shows or whatever you want to call them. In terms of video games, I've been playing a little bit more Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Been kind of hopping in the multiplayer, trying to play a few matches of that. And I don't know, man. I've kind of not been like digging it as much. It's
No.
it's kind of with the skill-based matchmaking, and I feel like I just keep getting paired up with people who just grind that game 24/7. Like they're max level right now. And I don't know. It's just like I haven't been enjoying it too much in terms of the multiplayer. I might just stick with playing the zombies mode if I go back to that game. I am curious though, because like I mentioned earlier, there is a big new content update coming tomorrow. They're gonna add like a new Warzone map. There's gonna be more like multiplayer maps and weapons. I'm curious to try that stuff out and see how it goes. But I don't know. It's been like like I don't know. I haven't really been having as much fun with that game as I necessarily thought. It is what it is. There's plenty of other games to play, so no big deal. Speaking of better games to play, Animal Crossing. I've surprisingly been playing a lot more of this. With the winter update, one of the things you can do is, of course, your island will now be like more snowy with more of a winter aesthetic. And you can catch little snowflakes that kind of float around to make like new winter-themed items. And every day there will be 2 snowballs that are just kind of close, randomly spawned on the island. And you can kind of like, push them and eventually accumulate 2 big snowballs and make a snowman with them. Or as they call it, a snow boy. I don't know why they call it a snow boy. That's what they don't call it a snowman. They call it snow boy. But anyways, then the snowman, I don't know if you have to like make it a right way, but sometimes they'll give you a special like DIY to make a new item. And sometimes they just give you nothing and just like say something like, oh, happy birthday. Like, whatever a snowman or Frosty would say. And I don't know. I've been enjoying that. It literally says that like every time you build one, they have like some sort of thing like, oh, it's great to be alive and whatever. It's like, that's kind of weird to think about in this child's game.
It's great to be alive.
Yeah. I guess in Animal Crossing it is. But yeah, it's been fun, checking off all the boxes of the new critters. Ironically enough, too, there's a dung beetle now, but of course there's no poop in Animal Crossing, so he pushes the little snowballs around. I haven't caught one yet.
That's pretty funny.
But yeah, I've been enjoying just checking back in with that game and collecting the new things. It's nice, too, because with each of the different like seasons, there'll be new items in the shop and new like clothing items, so that's kind of the stuff that I really look forward to seeing, as well as each day there's like a new special guest that will rotate every week or so. So it's just like, oh, who's here today? Oh, it's Leaf, the sloth who sells you plants. He sucks. Come back tomorrow. See who it is. And also, we're soon going to be getting I would assume in the next few weeks or so, there's going to be like the Christmassy update where like all the trees will have decorations and you can actually shake decorations off the tree. Which is unrealistic. They would just shatter, but you can actually pick them up and make like your own Christmas tree and stuff like that.
Yeah, never mind that presents are falling from the tree. But they're not breaking when they hit the ground. That's the unreal part.
Exactly. Yeah. I've also been really enjoying with the like holiday update. Like the main thing is going to be like the Toyland. That's like their Christmas, and they actually have like these little toys that they'll add to the shop that change every day. And I've got some pretty cool like toys that they added. They have like a T-Rex. The other day I got like a tin robot toy, which I think they're cool. I like them. I like toys. What can I say? Next up, I randomly have been watching a lot of like people stream Demon's Souls, the remake on PS5. And that's really making me want to play a From Software Souls game proper again. And since I don't have a PS5 or Demon's Souls, I just started up Dark Souls again. This is just like me going back to like a comfort food game, Like I really enjoy this game. I played it a lot. And guys, I don't know what happened, but I've been really like sucking. This game it's tough, Hey, people on the internet are right. Dark Souls is hard. I get it.
You suck.
Yeah, get good, scrub.
Yeah. That's what Cranky Kong always tells me.
But yeah, I've been like surprisingly struggling at the game. I don't know if it's just because of the class I've been going with, and I've been using a new weapon that I'm not used to. I kind of don't want to just fall back into the weapon that I usually use, like a great sword or ultra great sword. I just like having a big sword, but I like to try to beat the game with like different things. I kind of want to use a spear. I'd say I'm still not out of the like beginning area where you can kind of like actually choose what your character is going to be. Unfortunately, like when you start Dark Souls, you can't really pick what kind of weapon you want to use, your build. You kind of just pick what your character class is going to be. Like, oh, are you going to be a pyromancer? Or are you going to be like a knight? Or are you going to be like a cleric that focuses on like heal spells? It's a little frustrating and definitely hard at the beginning, but it's just once you get past this beginning state, which I think is always the toughest part of a Souls game, then it's kind of like, okay, well now you can just properly enjoy it and kind of just run around knowing your weapon, upgrading yourself and just progressing through the different bosses and areas. So I have been struggling through it, but also just really enjoying it. It's just really nice playing the game again. I just love how it controls. I love every aspect about the game, like the design of the levels, and honestly, I just like the mechanics of the combat, even though some people don't understand it or think it's challenging. I'm enjoying it. I'm glad that I went back to this. And then last but not least, I guess I should talk about Cyberpunk 2077, which I started playing.
Nice.
So, like I said, I picked up the PS4 version, and I am playing on a base PS4. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. When I initially started playing Cyberpunk 2077, I was very overwhelmed. There's a lot going on in Cyberpunk 2077 in terms of like the gameplay mechanics, as well as just all the like loot and all the customization that you can do on your character. So to basically explain what this game is in layman's terms, I like to describe games by comparing them to other types of games. So I would say Cyberpunk is kind of like if you took a Fallout open world game and combined it with like a Grand Theft Auto, if you will. So like it's just a more like modern take on like a Fallout, but it has like the same kind of like building your character like a Bethesda RPG in terms of like the specs and the skill tree and stuff like that. There's like dialogue options. There's like stealth mechanics. Like, I don't know. I hope I'm just trying to basically describe what the game feels like to me. And
I think we understand.
And I do enjoy that. Like, I'm not trying to basically say like, oh, this game didn't do anything new. I do enjoy what it kind of just honestly really reminds me of like a Fallout type RPG, Like it's all first person and you get a lot of different guns and equipment and different types of stuff like that. But it's a lot about exploring the world, and you find these little like side missions or odd jobs and you complete them. And sometimes you'll get experience. Sometimes you get just money or different items. But it's just fun overall. So when you start your character, you create your character. And one of the neat features about this game is you can create your genitals. You can change the size of your dick or your puss, whatever. That's all a thing.
I did not hear about that. That is hysterical. Oh my gosh.
It's very odd considering how many years I've played video games and I've never seen that option before. You can even change like how much pubes you have and what your pubes look like. I don't even know.
Oh wait, isn't it goes to the details of what your actual. I'm thinking more like, oh look, my cup size is big, but it's saying like
you see it. You see everything.
That's so weird.
It doesn't even blur it. I don't even know what it's for. I haven't got to a point. There are strip clubs in the game, but I don't know if there's even sex in the game. I don't know why it matters. You can take your pants off and just be naked if you want to. You don't have underwear, so that's a thing if you want to like flashing simulator, but it's just odd. Like it's just something that I would never think like a character creator would have or need, but it's there.
Yeah, I'm not trying to sound like I'm like a prude. It's just like what's the point of that? I don't know.
I don't know either. Honestly, I played about 10 hours. I don't know. It's there. I don't know if it right now from the just looking at it, it almost seems like they just did it to be controversial. But I don't know. I won't disqualify the genital creation yet, but we'll see. Also, the pube editing isn't as crazy as you would think. It's only like, hey, do you want some pubes, a lot of pubes, or no pubes? That's it. They don't actually, like, you can't put, like, cool designs in there. Although, there actually might be a few designs. I forget. But anyways, you make your character, And then you kind of build your class after you do the creation. You know, you can pick like, there's basically 5 different skill things, almost again akin to like a Fallout with the special traits, you know, and you can pick like, oh, do you want your character to be more like strong and like good with like blunt melee weapons and like big weapons like shotguns and LMGs, or do you want to put more points in your cool stat? That's a thing, it's called cool, and that's more about like stealth, like if you're good.
Cool.
Yeah, and I'm King Cool. I love playing stealth games, so I put a bunch of points into my cool factor because that's just how Game Bro Corey rolls. He's a pretty cool guy.
That's just how cool I am.
Exactly. And then after that, you also pick like, it's kind of interesting. There's like 3 different backgrounds you can give your character. So you're making a character, but you're not like actually making a character. You just create what V looks like, but you play as a character named V. But V can be a male or female, whatever race, that doesn't matter. But you are playing a character. You're just, it's interesting because you just customize what they look like, essentially. But then, like I was just going to say, you can pick like what their background is. So one is called Nomad, which is what I picked, which is like, oh, you kind of like, you live out in the free areas of the world. You kind of are more into doing like Borderlands-esque stuff. Like you go to like looting different like gas stations and abandoned outposts, and you kind of are like, you live life however you want, I guess. I forget how they described it. Then there was like you could be like almost like a gangster, like you live in Night City and you kind of know like the streets and you have like more of a family pack to yourself. And then the third one was like, you almost are like owned by corporations, and that's kind of your like big like you pretty much obey the big corporations, and they're like your gods and your leaders and whatever, you know, do what Mark Zuckerberg says. That's like one of the biggest things that I really love about Cyberpunk 2077. I love this very dark dystopian future, which I thought I wouldn't, because I actually, some of that stuff really scares me because I'm like, I don't know, I could see a lot of this stuff happening in reality. But it's the world itself is just so well made. Just seeing like all these different like little ads for different fake products, reading all the like lore about, it has like Fallout elements, like you can go to different terminals and you get different like little notepads which you can read about, you know, like what happened over the years and how like, oh, someone found this like intact bottle of honey, and honey doesn't exist anymore because all the bees went extinct, and this honey sold for millions of euros because I guess euros is the primary money in the world or something. I don't know. But that kind of stuff is like what really fascinates me. Like just I enjoy just reading a lot of these like emails for fake like sex enhancing products, or like, oh, you know, Cyberpunk, it's all about like also body modifications. Like, oh, you can have like these crazy like eyes, or you can add like all the like, it's just really neat, and there's a lot going on that it's hard for me to even describe everything that I've read and experienced. And like I mentioned earlier, like that's kind of a big thing that I've been taking away with this game, is I've been very like overwhelmed by it, so much so sometimes that I have to just step back and be like, I played enough of this today. Not that I necessarily don't like it or I'm upset by it, but I just need to like sit back and actually think about everything that's going on in this game.
I've been trying to customize my pubes for the last 5 hours. I have to stop.
But yeah, like the story, I'm still very early in it. Isn't that funny? I played about 10 hours and I'm still early in the story. I can't even think what the end time on this game is going to be. But you're playing as this character who's trying to get into these like gangs. Like there's a lot of gang and corporation stuff that you're trying to have ties to and work to be like the #1 player in Night City or whatever. And you meet like this guy who has like a little like organization going on. His name's Jackie, and he kind of becomes like your best friend and kind of like your partner in crime, essentially. And you're kind of going to like these other people, like you're trying to make it big and just do all these different like little heists and these little jobs. And you get to experience all the different like gangs in Night City. And there's a ton of different, that's basically kind of the crux of it, is you go around like cleaning up the city however you feel fit. I mean, you can appease with the gangs, or you can, you know, fight the police or whatever, and just it's like, it's got a lot going on for it there. I'm trying to think of anything else. The gameplay itself is it just feels like a good modern first person shooter.
Nice.
You can customize your guns, put different attachments on them, and you get different guns as you go through. And you can tell that this is I could see elements from like a Witcher type game or another RPG, because every time you get a different gun, it literally has different like stats where it's like, oh, this assault rifle I just picked up does like 90.5 damage, but then I picked up another assault rifle and this one's 92.3 damage. So it's like, oh, I want to do that. Like, it's so randomized that every piece of loot you get, you always want to check it out and see if it's like slightly better or slightly worse. And of course, it has like a colored loot system like most modern games. So, like, oh, a purple or orange is rarer than a white or a green. And like I said, you can customize, like, you get like 3 different weapons, and then you have your head, your body. You have like a bunch of different like pieces of clothing you put on, which counts as your armor. And they're all the same. Like, every piece of armor might have like 0.1 or 0.5 more shields or armor than your other thing. Like, you're constantly getting new loot, and you're constantly getting like a bunch of different things to upgrade yourself. It's a lot of fun. I don't really care for driving. I'm never a big fan of driving in open world games. They're just like running everywhere. But the driving seemed okay. The driving honestly really reminded me of GTA driving. Also, something that I think is cool is you can always call your car. Kind of like in Breath of the Wild, you can always call like your horse or whatever. You have a dedicated button to just have your car like drive to you at any times, which I think is a neat idea.
That's neat.
And something again that's cool about the gameplay is you can kind of like, you have like this, if you hold like the left bumper button, you get like this concentrated vision, and you can kind of look at different things around the environment as well as enemies, and it'll show you like, how strong an enemy is, what gang faction that enemy is, what type of enemy it is. And then you also have the ability to hack into different items around the world as well as enemies. And you can do like special types of hacks, like, oh, I have one that'll shock the enemy and disable like all their different abilities they have. Or you can have one which will blind the enemy and they won't be able to do anything because they're blind. From what I'm understanding, you get a bunch of different types of different hacks like that. And then you can also hack different things around you. Like, there'll be like security cams, and you can hack into the camera and look around you, and then you can disable the camera so it doesn't pick you up. Or there's like turrets, you can hack into that and have the turret actually attack your enemies. Or you can hack this like billboard to distract enemies so you can sneak around or do whatever you want. And that kind of stuff in the combat is something that I'm finding really interesting. And I want to look more into that. I think that's a lot of fun.
Nice.
Also, weirdly enough, I haven't played a lot of first-person melee games, but this game actually has a really good like first-person melee combat. Like, there was a tutorial on combat, and they give you like a katana, and it actually feels really good, like swinging the katana. And the melee combat is very in depth. There's like a 1-2-3 combo. You have like a heavy attack that you like charge to use. You can parry moves in your combo, and it's cool, like the melee combat. I actually want to look more into that. But like I was mentioning when we were talking about the game running on a base PS4, it doesn't look that great, but I've been trying to look more past that and just experience the game, and I'm starting to really get into it and just, like I said, overlook that and just appreciate what I have. Yes, it doesn't look that great. I'm sure one day I'll play it on my PC or on a PS5 and it'll look like how it should look. But I am very much enjoying this game so far. I want to play out more of it. I know way more of this game that I don't know about, that I'm ready to experience. Like I said, though, I think the combat's a lot of fun. I really like the world building in here. I think it's really cool. And yeah, I think that's all I got to say. Don't want to keep you guys here all night talking about Cyberpunk.
I'm sure you could if you wanted to.
It's a very big game though, and I think it. I honestly don't know. Like, I really didn't look at any reviews, but like I think it's a very good game. It's just a very proper, open world AAA budget game, and I think they did really good. I think it has like a lot of depth going on. I'm really digging it. And then last but not least, well, I mean, that was last, but all I want to say is, which I also mentioned earlier, that I'm looking forward this weekend to trying the Back for Blood alpha, and I hopefully will stream that.
Yeah.
I really want to stream more. I didn't get to play any more Age of Calamity, and I do want to play more of that game, too. Again, with just like all the stuff with the holiday season, I've been having trouble finding time to stream. But yeah, that's all I really got.
Awesome. You had a lot more. A lot more to see than I did.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure that will continue as I play more Cyberpunk, and I got plenty of other games. But with that being said, we are now going to move on to our last segment in the podcast, where we read our viewer questions. So there are two ways to send in these questions. First of all, you can go to you can send them in by an email. The email address is levelwithmepodcast@gmail.com. This week, we do not have any Gmail questions, unfortunately. But then the second way is you can go to our Instagram account, Level With Me Podcast, and on the day of the podcast, which is Tuesday, we will put up a little link where you can write in a question, and then if we read it, we'll give you a shout out on the podcast. Now, Mike, do we have any questions this week from the Instagram?
Yes, we do. Only one this week, unfortunately.
Can I guess who it's from?
You get 5 guesses.
How about Thanos?
All right. Well, I guess I only had to give you one guess, but yeah, you're correct. It is Thanos, aka Owen Reese. He might as well be Thanos. But yes, Owen Reese.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Oh, I'm not trying to say he's like an evil tyrant. I'm just saying he's like as awesome as Thanos.
Yes, I appreciate Owen Reese. I don't know if I want to compare him to Thanos. Yeah, he is as cool as Thanos.
Exactly.
Okay, what did he say?
Owen asked us this week, are there any games that we find to be underrated? And I can definitely say I can think of a lot of games that I think are underrated. Man. I will chime in and say right now that I think I mentioned earlier, Donkey Kong Country 3 I think is a very underrated game. It gets a lot of hate.
I'm trying to think.
I'm trying to think of more modern games. Here's one I really liked, and I think it didn't get a lot of love. There was a game that came out. It was actually developed by Sega for the Wii. It was called Mad World. It had like a Sin City like look to it, where it was like a black and white comic book, and blood was the only color. Like red was the only color, and it was used in blood.
I always wanted to play that. I thought it looked super neat.
It actually was a really fun game. Like I really enjoyed it. The best part, I think, the one thing I loved about it was that the voice actors, like it basically was supposed to be like a TV show, or like kind of like American Gladiators or whatever, where like you have like the commentators like, oh man, look, there he goes, and he's slamming him in the head with a chainsaw, like, and the voice actors for like the commentators were John, I think his name's John DiMaggio, the voice of Bender from Futurama.
Oh, that's great.
And Greg Proops from Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Oh wow!
Those two together as commentators, it was amazing. I just love that alone for the game. So yeah, Mad World, I think, a very underrated game. I kind of wish they made a sequel to that, and like patched up some of the holes the game had.
Oddly enough, speaking of Mad World, I know Sega made a game. Actually, I don't know if it was Sega, but there's a game called like Anarchy Reigns, which was like a third-person action multiplayer game, and I think it has the character from Mad World as a playable character, like the chainsaw guy. Yeah, and I think Bayonetta's in that game too. It's kind of a weird like mishmash. But for me, my underrated game that I'm thinking of is, I was gonna say Shadowrun on the Xbox 360, as well as the Windows Games for Windows Live. That's what it was called. It was like one of the first cross-play multiplayer games. You could play on PC and Xbox 360. And it was a multiplayer game that kind of like a Counter-Strike, where you have like a buy menu system. But the thing that made this more interesting is because it's set in the Shadowrun universe, you have like these more fantasy elements. So like your character would be either, it could be like just a human, or then you could have like a troll or an elf or a dwarf, and they all had like different properties to them. And then you also had like a magic like ability that you could have. So you could have like a tree of life, it was called, and it was basically like, oh, if you stand by the tree, you just regen your health really quickly. But like enemies could like shoot the tree and cause it to get destroyed. There were other spells. I forget what it was called, but it would throw down like a bunch of like crystals that would come out of the ground, and if you were in the crystals, it would drain your like mana and hurt you a little bit. It had like a lot of interesting things going on with the combat, and honestly, like the guns themselves also felt like Halo guns. Like there was an assault rifle that was literally or there was an SMG that was like the assault rifle from Halo. There was I think it was just called the rifle, which was like the DMR from Halo, and this was before Halo Reach came out. But I guess I'm just saying the shooting itself felt a lot like Halo with that like precision, kind of like sandboxy elements. I don't know. I just really enjoyed this game, and I think it's very underrated. I would love to see some sort of spiritual successor to it. I had so much fun with it.
Nice.
Thank you, Owen Reese. That was a good question. I'm sure I could think of like 5 more underrated games if I had more time.
Yeah, but we'll be here all night, you know?
Yeah. But that being said, guys, that's going to do it for this week on the podcast. Thank you so much for continuing to support us. If you'd like to support us more, you can go to the Level With Me YouTube channel and check out some of our Let's Plays. I've been really cranking out a lot of the parts for Luigi's Mansion 3.
Yes, you have.
Hopefully this week we'll be able to play some more of that, as well as Super Mario World.
Oh, yes. I do apologize for my lack of uploads for that. I've just been very busy.
Oh, no, you're good, man. No worries. But yeah, more content on there. And then if you want to check out me personally, I'm GameBro Corey. You can go to my twitch.tv and give me a follow. Really hoping to hit affiliate at some point. I haven't been streaming a lot though, so I need to work on that. But you can expect more Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity on there. I also want to check out some other games after I beat that one. And I might start playing more Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I want to get back into that game, especially with the release of Sephiroth. I think that's going to push me back into playing that game more. Also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at GameBroCorey. What about you, Mike?
If you guys want to follow me, you can find me at the DMV. I've been in line for the last 5 hours. I'm actually doing this podcast from my phone, my Discord app, because I'm still stuck in
Number
line.
129.
50 more to go. But no, if you guys want to find me, you can find me over on Instagram at the Collector's Vault, and I'm also on YouTube at the Collector's Vault. Basically, if you guys like old school collectibles, especially with Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, that's the place to go to. Talk about the secondary market. We talk about a lot of like retro stuff and just fun things in general. Anything collectible, retro video games, and yeah, just come over and follow me. Just make sure you just bring over some Mountain Dew for me. It better be Baja Blast. Please share that with me. I need some Baja Blast.
Baja Blast is great.
It is very great. You know what? That's what I want for Christmas. I want Pepsi to release Mountain Dew Baja Blast as like a soda that I can buy at the grocery store, like the 12 packs.
They did do that like for the summer, like a year or two ago, and it was the greatest time of our lives. You just go buy a 12-pack of Baja Blast, and I could enjoy Baja Blast in my underwear on my couch.
Yeah, and now I have to go to Taco Bell in my underwear if I want to enjoy Baja Blast in my underwear.
And they're like, sir, get out. It's a quarantine. We don't allow people in the lobby.
Yeah. But I'm wearing my mask. Sir, you're right. Come on inside.
Can you imagine if you just walked in with a mask and underwear and they're just like, well, he's wearing the mask. I mean.
Yeah. It'd be better if I was wearing a mask as underwear. Then it'd be like, I mean, it's better than pants at that point, In
Cyberpunk 2077, you can wear no underwear and a mat. I don't know where it's going with this. I was going to make some sort of genitals joke. My brain's fried.
It'd be funny. It'd be funny if that was actually like a customizable accessory on there. Like you just put like a mask over your genitals. Actually, you know what's funny? Corey, tell me this. Are there any masks in this game? Because that tells me that, hey, kids, don't worry. By the year 2077, masks will finally go away.
I've heard about lockdowns. I know our nation's still divided. There's a North and South California. there are the states that decide to be with the big corporations, and there's the states that aren't. I don't know, man. It's a weird, dark future. I don't know what's going on in there. I don't know if I vibe with it.
Me neither, man. Me neither.
But I want to keep playing it. I need it. I need to see the horrors. it completes me. Speaking of horrors, I hope you all have a happy holidays. I don't know why I'm saying that. It's not like we're gonna do the podcast next week. My brain is fried.
We'll try to do
end the
the
podcast with a meatball pizza joke. That always wins.
Oh my gosh! Insert meatball pizza joke. How can we forget? How can we forget, Corey?
Yeah, the classic. All right, I'm hitting the button. Good night.
All right. Good night, folks.